was crying in class. My teacher took me. I'm like, what's wrong? And I was like, I got an 87. Like, well, that's okay. Like, that's not that bad. And I was like, my dad's gonna beat me. And the thing is, my dad never did that. And I always think about that. I'm like, she probably got the worst image of my dad. When he would come to parent teacher, she would look at him weirdly. Yeah. He never laid his hands on me. He never pressured me. He was the nicest guy. You know what I mean?
Love is for people who are broke. You know what I'm saying? Love is for people who don't have $1 million in their fucking bank account. For real. Because, bro, like these guys.
Okay.
The second this blows up.
I know.
Love is. Cool. All right, everything's set. Okay, we're good. Give me 1 second. Fix my mic. Okay. Take a sip of fucking.
Does it taste like coffee?
It doesn't.
No, okay.
That fucking straw is gonna make a noise.
Here, I'll take it off. Or no, I'm gonna leave it.
Yeah, you can leave it. Okay. Welcome back. This is your second time on the podcast. How you feeling today, Lujan?
Feel good, man.
Feel good?
Yeah, back at home.
Hell yeah, bro. Yeah. I feel back at home. I'm nervous. I haven't done this shit in a minute. I took a whole summer off, but we're back. And I have my lovely girlfriend, Adriana here. How are you today?
Good. And yourself?
Good. I'm good.
A little nervous.
I think we all are.
Yeah.
I haven't done this in a minute, but I'm glad to be back. Such a crazy combo. I have one of my best friends of all time, which you've been here before, but the episode that we shot had some audio problems, which happens more than you guys would think. I have so many episodes, and I think that like even in between the episodes that I have, like between episode 2 and episode 3 was like a huge gap where I had a bunch of other people. I had Stevens, I had Q, I had Iram like 3 times, and I had Gomez on too, and all of those were all like faulty and stuff. But we're back and better than before, so this one's gonna be a heavy knocker. Season 2, I guess we can call it. Like an HBO show that has like 4 episodes. That was season 1. Yeah,
miniseries.
Nice.
Yeah. But yeah, and obviously with my girlfriend here, you've never been here before. It's the first time in the studio.
It's my first time.
What do you think?
I like it. It's cool.
It's cool, huh?
Yes.
Everybody always thinks that it's like smaller than it actually is, and it's actually pretty big. Yeah, because it's used for multiple things. Like it's got a multi-purpose. You got that thing over there, and
I
then
didn't
you
even
got
know
this
this existed here.
Yeah, I know, right? It's hidden. Like people don't even know that it's at UTEP and stuff. But they do film another podcast here. It's a soccer podcast.
The soccer, yeah.
Yeah, they film a soccer podcast.
Sick.
Yeah, they bring players from Los Locos. Locomotives.
No way.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. They bring players and stuff. It's called Fútbol de Noche, I think. So shout out to those guys, and if they want to give me a shout out too, then I'll have them on the podcast. But yeah, I'm glad to have you guys here. I feel like this is going to be a really fun podcast, and it's a good segue back for me comfortably. But Lujan, you just got out of surgery. You're just clearing. You're feeling. How are you feeling?
About a week out.
What did you get done?
I got my nose done. No, my appendix. I had appendicitis. It didn't rupture, but I remember the leading up to.
That would have been cool.
If it did rupture, they would have had to open me up.
Yeah.
Open you up? Yeah. That's crazy.
I had like a small pain. I thought it was like a stomach pain.
Yeah.
Was it like constantly?
The whole time.
Yeah.
It wouldn't go away, but it wouldn't get worse.
You just
so
thought
I was like,
that was normal?
Yeah, I thought it was like, just like I ate something. Because
Yeah.
I switched to like, I stopped eating like meat. I was going like these veggie-based like meat products. I was like, fuck that. I'm never going to eat that stuff again. It's bullshit. It's not good for me.
I'm a man. I need fucking meat.
And so I had it. It started at like in the afternoon. And then at night, I was like, all right, if I wake up with this, I'm going to have to tell my family.
Yeah.
And I had an interview that morning. I was like, I can't miss the interview.
Yeah.
So I drove. It was a pain to get in the car. It was worse in the morning. I did the interview, immediately called my mom. I'm like, hey, I'm pretty sure I have appendicitis.
I'm dying.
I have appendicitis. Like, it hurts exactly right here. And I went, and then they're like, yeah, let's go to the hospital. And then they did a CT scan, and it was appendicitis.
And they just kept you there at the hospital?
Yeah. I got at the hospital at like 12, and they operated at 7. So I was like just paranoid, waiting counting down
the
the
shit
minutes.
to happen. Yeah, I hate that shit, bro. Even when I go to the dentist, like I hate when like people are setting up and shit like right before you're about to do something. But that's good. That's good that you got that taken care of.
You know what the funniest part to me was?
Yeah.
In the moment it wasn't funny, but looking back, So they would have like the doctor doing the intake, like, okay, what's wrong? Like they just assess what's going on.
Yeah.
And then my surgeon comes, and then the floor, like they transfer me to my room, and there's a doctor for the floor.
Yeah.
So every single time there was a new doctor, he's like, what do you have? I'm like, appendicitis. Like, really? It hurts right there?
What's your diagnosis?
It hurts right there, right there?
fucking
And I'm
hit
like,
you?
yeah.
It hurts right
every
there,
single time,
motherfucker.
like, right there, you sure? 3 times before the surgery. I was like, dude, if it's not ruptured, then it's ruptured now.
At the 4th doctor, you're like, yo, what do you have?
You have a
Relax.
sign.
That's fucking crazy.
Tonight.
Every single one, you sure? All right.
That to me, like, I don't know, like the whole, I've never had any kind of surgery, and like I just think about, like, I'm really like scared of doctors and stuff like that. Like going to when I was a kid, I had to go to the allergologist like every year because of my allergies. Like I have really bad seasonal allergies. I have year-long seasonal allergies, and so when I would go, it was like they would start the whole process all over again. So I'd have to get those staples in the back to see what reacts, and my whole fucking back would light up and shit. So I hated all that shit. I hated waiting there. Like that was the worst part for me. It was just being there for so long, not knowing when they're gonna come in or like whatever shit like that. It was crazy, and like, but I can't even imagine in the surgery.
Yeah, dude, I remember, so like the team of surgeons were all friends of my parents.
Yeah.
And so they got like this, like, they were telling me like, oh, the anesthesiologist, the guy that gives me like the medication so I like pass out.
Yeah.
He's like, he's really cool. I heard he's like one of the best. And then as I'm about to take me into the room, the operating room, and he's telling me jokes the whole time as I'm getting woozier and woozier. And he's like, oh, yeah, by the way, your mom said we can put lipstick on you, but we can't do your nails. Oh, okay. And that's the last thing I remember.
Really? Wow. That's what I was going to talk to you about like, how does it feel to get fucking knocked out?
Dude, it was really nice
until
I woke up with
You're
a
all sore now.
catheter in my
my
pee-pee.
fucking pee-pee, bro.
A big old tube in my pee-pee, dude.
Wow.
And there was the thing that was
For your own good.
For my own good. It was for my own good. The thing that was fucked up.
How fucking...
Dude, it goes all the way into your bladder.
Yeah.
No.
All the way into your bladder.
Oh.
Yeah. And like, there's people that freak out. They don't tell them how it works. Like, they don't tell the patients
And
like.
they try to yank it
Yeah.
off.
Well, they told you that they weren't going to do that.
They told me they were gonna put it in the operation, and then I'll wake up without one. I was like, thank God.
Why? Do you still pee while you're like under it or what?
Dude, if they put it in, you're just flowing. Like, there's no
You
control
can't
anymore.
control it.
So as soon as you drink something, it just fucking...
Oh, I mean, like, there's like process. I mean, yeah.
Oh,
like,
okay.
If your bladder completely empties by itself. There's no muscle anymore working at that time. But the
So
way
you
it
can't
works,
hold it in or anything.
No.
You just...
No.
Wow, that's
No.
crazy.
And the thing is-
that's the type of shit that makes me not want to go to the fucking doctor.
the thing is, it's like every time
I
they
know.
like, check up, like, you know what?
That shit happened to me every time I went to the allergologist, bro.
Yeah.
I was shoving a fucking...
One of my buddies that's in nursing school, he told me that he knows surgeons that put a catheter in them
For...
when they're doing a long surgery.
When they're doing a long surgery.
And the doctors just have a catheter in.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nah, they just...
I'm like, that's disgusting.
Yeah, that's gross.
Yeah,
as fuck.
just hold your pee.
Go to the bathroom. Bro.
Yeah,
What the fuck? I can hold it for fucking 8-9 hours, bro. Relax. I'm an adult. You know what I mean? What the fuck? I think they just like it. They get used to that shit.
But what was fucked up is that I was the only person in the room when I woke up. Only patient, and there was like a bunch of like, I don't know if they were nurses or like medical students, but they were really young.
Yeah.
And they were like just like hanging out. It was like a break room or something. It
Like,
felt
what
like
the fuck?
Because they were joking around about everything, and I woke up. The first thing I did was like, please tell me there's no catheter. I took off my blanket.
This girl's
fucking
here.
catheter.
Goddamn.
And I started bawling, dude. I started
Really?
crying so hard.
Crying.
It's so freaky. It's in my penis. Like,
Yeah.
there's a tube in my penis.
Yeah, that's a sacred. Like,
And it hurt. It hurt
Oh, it
so,
hurt?
It's not supposed to hurt. It hurt so bad.
Yeah.
And I started crying. I couldn't stop crying. And then eventually they all look over like, are you okay? Like, I'm bothering them.
Yeah,
I'm like,
what
I'm
the
in the
fuck?
hospital. Like, you help me, dude. I'm an inconvenience to you. It's your job.
What
Do your
the fuck
job.
is your fucking
Sorry.
job? I'm
Yeah.
crying. I shouldn't be crying. What the fuck?
Dude, we're eating lunch right now.
What
But
the fuck? Fucking assholes.
the only ones that checked on me were the women. All the dudes were being assholes to me.
Really?
Like, the woman come up to me like, are you okay? What's going on? Like, what's the pain at? Like, 1 to 10.
And then the guy was like, ah.
She's
your
like,
appendix?
She's like, what's the pain at? I said, like a 6. Like, it's like, it's not the worst, but it's pretty fucking bad. And then they take it out. And like, I start feeling better. It was more of a mental thing.
Yeah.
And I like calm myself down. And then one of the guys is like, that wasn't a 6. I was like, no,
What the fuck, bro?
I can hear you. I was
Yeah.
like, I'm not going to try and fight somebody. I just
Yeah,
woke up. Like, I'll
But
take
catch me a week from now, and it's a different fucking.
Yeah, where you
story.
at, dude?
That's fucking
Yeah.
crazy, bro. That
Yeah.
sucks.
I
And I feel like,
disrespected the second I wake up.
yeah, what the fuck? And you got a fucking.
And
catheter.
they were making fun of my penis. They were making fun of my penis.
No
I think it was
way.
about me because who else's penis are they going to talk about?
Exactly.
I heard one of the girls.
Who
was
else? What other penis in the world is there besides mine?
One of the girls was like, yeah, one of the nurses said he has a really big penis. Like, but she said it in a tone.
In a tone.
That's like it's code.
Like
AKA small penis.
Yeah.
It's like I always say there's like three kinds of penis size. There's like normal everyday penis.
Okay.
And then there's like exercise penis where it's like the tiniest.
Yeah.
And then there's surgery penis, where it's like
Which
not
is, like,
functioning, dude.
not
It's like
functioning,
not.
like
It's like
fucking-
inverted.
Is that true?
I've
think
never
it's
had
true?
For me.
surgery. I don't know what you mean by gym penis. I
You've
don't
never
know.
worked out? Like
I've
after
worked out and sometimes it's like fucking like
you go to pee, you can't even grab it?
no.
I'm just kidding.
No.
I'm exaggerating.
You had to look for it and shit. Not like that. I guess I've never thought about it like that. I was just kind of like soft penis for me, like just whatever. Because I'm not really.
You gotta
like,
change your
used to it.
pre-workout if you're going in soft.
I do. I gotta
Yeah.
change my pre-workout. Dude. It's just not working for me. Yeah. I'm so.
Yeah. Anyway.
But yeah, that's fucking crazy,
Yeah.
bro. Like that sucks. I am kind of happy though for like modern anesthesia and shit.
dude.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's always to me like, for example, when I had problems with my teeth, like I still have problems with my teeth, but I had one of my teeth that was just got really bad. I had a cavity in there and it reached my nerve, so it's just bad and it was hurting. And I was like, I'll just deal with the pain. Like always, I've just been like, I'll deal with the pain, like whatever, like it's not that bad, and it goes away, so whatever. That one didn't go away, and it got really bad. Like it just when they told me that it's when the cavity fully got to the nerve, that it was just a fucking hole. So when I went in, the thing that I hate is when they put the anesthesia in, when they fucking the injection, like that shit hurts like a motherfucker. But the thing is after I finally broke down and I went to the dentist. It was in
Broke down.
Yeah, I broke down. I was like, I
You
can't do
couldn't
this
take it
shit.
anymore.
I couldn't. Like she knows
Yeah.
about the fucking pain that I had to. That shit sucked.
It's
And
like I'm chewing on one side of my mouth.
yeah, I was like chewing on like one
like,
quarter,
every
like
single
on like
thing.
one quarter of my mouth that I
Yeah.
was chewing, and it just got bad. And I was like, fucking like, literally every time that I'll put it off. This is it. This is the end of the line. And fucking, I go and literally right after the surgery, when the shit was already numbing out, I felt so much better. Like the pain just went away. That's also when I started thinking about I was taking Tylenol, and it would make the pain go away. And to me, that was fucking amazing. I was like, that's fucking insane. I was like, how does this fucking pill know that my tooth hurts?
Yeah.
I was like, that shit's insane.
Yeah.
And then Rodrigo, one of my other friends, was like, it doesn't know your fucking tooth hurts, bro. It just stops inflammation. That's what it does. And I was like, wow, that's crazy. And now every time that I went after that, because I had to go like 3 times. I don't know if I had to go 3 times. I think they were just fucking milking some fucking money out of me, but whatever. They're the dentist, whatever. They had to cut my gum too. And I felt that shit, but it didn't hurt. But I felt it, which it was horrible. It's a weird thing. You feel it, like I felt them cut it, but it didn't hurt at all. And she told me, she was like, if it hurts, let me know. And then what's funny too is after she did the first needle in, afterwards I would just see her grab it again and go. Like she would just keep doing it because it didn't hurt me anymore. I didn't feel like this, so she just kept going. Like she just kept doing this shit. And I would see that shit. I was like, damn, bitch, like whatever. I'm gonna be sore or something. But no, I would just. Afterwards, I was just so much better. And now for everything, I'm just like, fuck. I'm just gonna go to the doctor. Like I'm just gonna go get it fixed. Like get it fixed or like whatever. Because just how good I felt afterwards, and like how I could eat, and like now I could go back. Like because it really does affect like your everyday life, like your mood and everything. Like when I was eating, I couldn't concentrate on like watching TV or anything because I was too focused on doing my on making sure that shit doesn't hurt and stuff like that. But I'm glad they fucking put you under.
Yeah, I remember the one time I had to go to the dentist, like was forced to, like not just a regular checkup, was because I took way too long to lose my baby teeth.
Really?
I was like 14 and I still had the majority of my baby teeth. So the dentist would just be like, all right, you ready? And then just push them all out.
No.
Yeah.
Wait, you're 14?
13 or 14.
I think I
it
met
took me
you
a
when you
long
were like.
time.
I met you when you were.
It was
like
when I was
sixth
still in New
grade.
Mexico, so 6th grade, maybe 12 or 13.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but that's like I still had the
I
majority
guess
of
some
them.
of us take longer to go through middle school, but whatever. I was 13 in high school. You weren't 13.
High
You were 13
school.
in high school?
Yeah.
High school?
Yeah, I was 13.
You're like 15.
Yeah, you're
No.
15, 14 in
I was like
freshman year.
14.
13.
I know. 12.
Get the hell outta here.
I was 13 or
So that you were
you're
10
not
when all that
13.
stuff happened to you then? Yeah, we don't talk about it.
what the
What
fuck?
happened? What's going on?
We don't have to talk about it. I'm sorry, we can cut this out.
He's talking about like when I like was like first talking to girls and shit.
Yeah.
Oh Oh.
which was in middle school.
Yeah.
And yeah,
I was pretty ahead of my time too. I mean, I had my first kiss in 6th grade.
6th grade.
She was in 7th grade.
She was
Oh,
in
wow.
seventh
She
grade.
was
Wow.
good.
Something for the older ladies.
Yeah.
I had my first kiss that I kissed the girl's lips was in 2nd grade.
Oh,
But it was just like a little between like my neighbor,
that's how. That's
a girl neighbor.
okay. I was gonna say, did he own the house?
And because they all went to school in Juarez. I was the only one that went to school in El Paso. So I would like get home and like whatever. She had like a little crush on me. She probably still does. Whatever.
If you're watching this,
If you're watching this,
I still love you.
That's how kids get cold sores. You notice like a bunch of little kids just have cold sores. Like I never
They're
had that.
kissing
Yeah,
Each other.
they get it. I thought they got it from their parents and shit.
they get that too. They're doing the mouth kissing.
Because for example, like one time my brother got a cold sore because one of my like far away tias was like drinking something. She left it there, and my mom saw Alvaro about to drink that glass because all the glasses looked the same, and Alvaro was running around and he like just grabbed the glass
He
that he
does a
thought was
little
his.
kid chug like.
And as soon as he hit it, my mom was like, "Eee, shit." And sure enough, when we got home, we started getting
No.
and my mom knew exactly what it was like, what it was from.
It
But
was
I
from.
think that's what it is because kids just drink from whatever the fuck. Especially my brother, bro. I fucking hate that shit. He knows this shit too, bro. Like, you'll go to like, because he's always drinking like Cheetos and shit. Like, drinking Cheetos.
Yeah, like,
He's always
goddamn.
eating spicy chips and shit.
Gamer moment.
Yeah.
Swallow.
Mountain Dew and
Slushy Cheeto.
eating Mountain Dew and fucking drinking chips and shit. But you'll go open the fridge, bro. And like, or I guess I used to because I don't live with them anymore. But you would go and like the milk carton had like fucking
Handprint.
handprints on that shit. And
Like
then-
he would be chugging straight from the carton.
yeah, straight from the carton.
With his cold sores out.
Not with his cold sores. This is as an adult.
You
As
still
in
got him, bro.
yesterday.
You can still get him. It's for life.
I know I'm saying you can still get it, but I'm saying as an adult.
Oh, okay. He's
like,
doing that,
she's
drinking
doing
out of the
that, drinking
carton.
out of the fucking carton shit.
I never did that. I always wish I could though.
Yeah, one time
I only did it when it was like a little bit left.
I feel you.
And then I would
It was
just
like a
finish
little
it.
Yeah.
yeah, but this is because you were the last person that was
Yeah.
gonna be drinking. No, motherfucker, we would make tea or something, and you could just see the fucking handprints there. He just wouldn't get a classroom. He would just
Yeah.
fucking drink that shit. But anyway, how's your recovery going? How are you feeling?
Good. I mean, I can't
How long is it gonna take
to
For you
go
to be-
fully operational,
for me to get the Lujan that I used to know back?
dude. I can't work out for another month.
For another
I've
month?
only been able to go on walks. I can't ride a bike. I can't swim.
You can't ride a bike. Wow, I guess it is a lot of tension
Nothing heavier than 20.
in your pelvic.
Because it
area.
was more than just my appendix. He told me when I woke up, like my doctor, he's like, oh, by the way, we noticed that your belly button, like your navel, was like, you have the kind that's prone to hernias.
Wow.
So he's like, we went ahead and fixed that. And I was like, oh, like,
Oh, nice.
can you make my dick bigger too?
And while you're at it.
Yeah. I've said that joke every single time.
That's a good joke.
Yeah, like it. Okay.
Like you should have just gotten to it right away. That's crazy. But you feel good, like you.
I feel good. I'm fine. Yeah.
What
my-
about driving? Like, was that hard at first?
I couldn't drive for a week.
Wow.
Yeah, they didn't let me drive for a week.
When did this happen?
I think it was actually 2 weeks ago now.
2 weeks ago.
Last Friday.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's insane, bro. I'm honestly like, I know I got some shit. Like, I'm telling you right now, like, I know I got some shit. Especially my lungs. Like, my lungs are like really bad.
That's why I was super pumped when they did the CT scan. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I hope they
You
find
can
something
They
see-
else.
find
you can see
everything. Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
Oh,
Exactly.
you're all good except
Yeah.
for that. I'm like,
Yeah.
nice.
You know what's funny
I
too?
can keep drooling.
Thank God.
You know what's funny too is the last couple times that I went to the doctor. The last time that I went, my dad was still with me.
He's alive.
No, I mean like
Yeah.
in the room.
Oh, okay.
Like he was like I was like, just come. Like they're not gonna say no. Like whatever. I was like, just come. So he just came into the room with me, and then the doctor was like, do you have asthma? Because it was about my cough, and then the doctor was like, do you have asthma? And my dad was like, no, he doesn't. And I was like,
Okay.
yeah, but that was a long time ago. And the doctor was like, oh, if you don't have it, then don't worry about it. And I was like, well, that might be the fucking issue. Like, what the fuck? Like, check me, do something, like whatever. I was like, I hope they still check me and shit, but whatever. You also got surgery when you were a kid, right?
When
What'd
I
you
was like
get?
in 6th grade, I used to have an ulcer because I used to stress a lot and I wouldn't eat properly.
When you were a kid?
As a
Yes.
kid, bro, yeah. How
Yeah,
crazy
I
is
was
that?
like in 6th grade. And that hurt. Yeah, I don't remember much. I think like my brain blocked it off out of my memories. I just remember waking up with like a tube down my throat. And yeah, that's it. I just kept on like getting medication.
So they
and-
just shoved tubes in you whenever you did the
Yeah.
fucking surgery.
Will you relax? Stop stressing.
Yeah.
There's more and more tubes. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all.
Damn.
Mhm.
So you're a pretty anxious kid?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I mean, I say I was a pretty anxious kid, but that had to be like on a
Yeah, it's
different
like-
level.
But like I wouldn't
24/7.
eat either. Like like we were talking about earlier, like I get nervous and I wouldn't eat at all. So that was like the main problem, I think.
Damn.
The thing about me was I wouldn't eat because I wanted to eat my candy.
Yeah, I remember that.
So I would eat like however little food I had to, so that they would let me eat the candy. So then that's why like it wasn't until I got older that I started like really just enjoying my food, and then I realized that I didn't want to eat candy afterwards because I was already full, and that the desire that I had to eat candy was actually just me being hungry. It's just
I remember in high school, you'd be like, "Yeah, I just can't gain weight." Dude,
Eating tuna.
You're eating silly straws. Over 90%
I
of your
remember one
diet.
time we arm wrestled and this guy like I fucking beat this guy barely.
What
I
the
barely
fuck?
beat you.
Oh, man. I can't do it for a month.
I barely beat you. And this guy, I was like, how did I lose this guy? He's all Twizzlers. And I was like, oh, that's true. That's funny though, because like we've been watching. So I just started watching Grey's Anatomy. Just barely. Like,
What do you think? Do you like it?
I think it's one of the dumbest fucking shows I've ever seen in my
totally
life.
agree.
But I get it. Like I understand the appeal to romanticism, I guess, to philosophically tackle it like that. Just I understand, because like when you think about it, real hospitals aren't like that at all, and these people do some pretty serious shit. But it's just kind of like I understand how like it's just like a soap opera type of thing.
There is a lot of drama though.
There's a lot of drama, but there is a lot of also like trauma, you know,
Yeah.
like hospital trauma that they deal with. So
Yeah.
like I think it's cool, like all the medical shit that they talk about, like when they're talking about like, oh, I was just in surgery for like 18 hours, but then their hair is still like fucking
Perfect.
gorgeous
It's
and
still
like,
hot.
Yeah.
And fit.
I think it's hilarious that they like just the thing that stood out to me right away, because I watch a lot of experts react, and I've seen like doctors react and shit like that. And the first thing that stood out to me is how like on Grey's Anatomy they just talk about patient shit like in the elevator, like just diagnoses and like what's wrong with them. And there's like other people there, like there's like other patients or like just visitors and shit. And they're just saying shit out loud, or they're yelling shit across the room and stuff. And I think that's like super silly, and like that totally took me out of it. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, why is this I was like, those charts that they have are metal for a reason, bro, because they're private. It's illegal for you to even like fucking peek at that shit. Like you can't be looking into people's medical records, and they're just fucking
Passing them around.
That's just that thing they throw on the floor before they start fucking having sex in the fucking room, bro. That shit's crazy as fuck. But Adriana likes it. She's been watching it for a minute, so I let her get me into it.
I used to watch it when I was like in middle school, and then
It
I
helped with the
stopped,
ulcers.
With the ulcers.
with the ulcers, yeah. Yeah, I was like obsessed with Grey's Anatomy, but like I
Really?
mean, I would know that like it wasn't real, you know? Like,
Yeah.
I think there's
Grab
like I think it's like better for people to be obsessed with those kind of shows than like there's like a clear difference of kind of person someone turns into when they're obsessed with that kind of show, or like vampire shows, or like
Like vampire shows. I
Yeah.
think it's the same thing, bro.
is it?
Oh, my jewel's leaking, bro. I hate when that happens.
Yeah, it sucks.
That's the problem with this brand.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm still gonna hit it anyway. But I think it's the same thing, bro. Because the vampire shows, when I started, like I watched the originals, and I watched a little bit of Vampire Diaries, and I was super excited because I thought it was actually gonna be about vampires, like vampire, like myths, like fighting a Wendigo or some shit, like just like mythological stuff. But it's not. It's about
It's
like
just drama.
really attractive people crying.
It's
over
about like a 1,000-year-old dude hitting up a high
hitting up
schooler.
like a high school.
yeah, and it's fine.
And
He's
it's okay.
hot.
Yeah, it's fine because he's hot. You know
and
what
there's
I'm saying?
fog sometimes.
But
That's
wait,
cool.
that's the thing about those shows, and that's the thing about most shows like those, is that when you really get into the logic, which people don't like it when I do because it takes them out of the whole thing. But when you really get into the logic of them, they're fucking weird as fuck. Like they do shit like that where like the vampires are 1,000 years old, and even if he's hitting on like an 18-year-old, it's weird as fuck that you're telling this girl that you love her after you've met her for like a week, but you've been alive for like a million. I wouldn't trust that fucking vampire.
And they call everybody a 50-year-old guy a groomer if he does the same thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, that
like,
guy's an ultra groomer.
I get in trouble and shit because
Because you're hitting up on high schoolers.
I go to a middle school soccer game. You know what I'm saying? Nah, I'm gonna cut that out. That's not.
No, leave that in.
Leave it in.
Yeah.
Gotta show the real Lechuga.
But I will say that there's a lot of I don't want to say young girls, because guys too, like that see shit like that, and they don't distinguish it from like. Remember we talk about this, like, so in those shows like Grey's Anatomy, I always find it very cool the shit that people say, just the way that they talk. Any patient could just give you a fucking soliloquy on like life, bro. Like any patient that's in there, and I've talked to her because I talked shit during the entire show that we're watching it. And I did the same thing with Euphoria. and Elite. We were watching
yeah.
Elite too, and I was just talking shit about the whole time. But I was like, real people aren't this interesting. Like people in real life aren't this like they have all these attitudes and like these comebacks and like all these this cool back and forth like chit chat, and everybody has their feelings kind of sorted out and they know how to articulate them and things like that. And I feel like when people watch that, if they don't realize that this is just a show, when they go into real life, they think that people are going to kind of do the same thing, or that you can say the same shit like that.
Kind of like anime dudes.
Kind of like anime, yeah. They think
whatever
that
they do. Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that shit, you know what I mean? A little too close to home,
What
but
do we
whatever.
I was gonna do like the ooh thing. They do like this bouncing talk, like the
Oh.
anime characters do.
But that's like a fighting
Bouncing
game,
talk.
no?
Yeah. Like the loading screen of a fighting game. But that's how they move around.
Bouncing talk.
You know, they like, ooh,
Ooh,
yeah, like,
back. Shit like that. So
Weird
that's an
sounds.
example of like, I'm like, that shit is cool, bro. But then like, I don't know, it's different. Like, for example, I think about like when I used to watch iCarly. And iCarly is a show where like the adults are fucking stupid and the kids are the ones that have like all the reasons. So they would do like all these cool comebacks to like the parents. Then I was like, wow, that's pretty smart, because the parents would say shit that my parents would regularly say, like, oh, if you jumped off a bridge, if your friends jumped off a bridge, would you do it too? And in iCarly, they would have like a cool comeback for something like that, right? Because it's a team full of writers that are professionals and they know how to do shit like that. And so I would take that into real life and I would say something like to my parents and I'd get my ass kicked because it was super disrespectful. And because these parents aren't one-dimensional characters like they are in the show. There's consequences and stuff like that. But I do think that from watching shows like Grey's Anatomy and stuff like that, not that it's a bad thing, because at the end of the day, there should be somebody there telling you that this isn't the way that real life is. Like, real doctors don't look like that. And, you know, it's not, I don't think it's ever going to happen where you're in the middle of a surgery and somebody comes in and starts trying to have sex with you while you're in the operating table. I hope not, you know, but you never know. And that stuff doesn't really happen. But I do feel like the whole romantic, like love, falling in love and feeling like that part, a lot of people do see that. Then they try to get that in real life and it doesn't connect. Because these guys and these girls aren't just one-dimensional characters that are going to drop everything to make you feel comfortable, because other people are other people, and they're like, there's a massive ocean of just feelings and emotions that and experiences that you just by the time that you get to college or high school, you already have from like the way that you grew up and stuff. So I do wish that those shows weren't so addictive as they are, you know, or maybe
And they're still going. Aren't
still
they?
going.
Yeah.
Fucking 17 seasons, bro.
no, 23.
23
Isn't
seasons.
it 23
I
seasons?
don't know.
Of
I
Grey's
just thought-
Anatomy?
Yeah.
No
It's
way.
23, bro.
23. There's only 7. Oh, I guess there's only 17 on Netflix.
Netflix.
Because they're still filming it. They
Yeah.
mentioned they
No, I
talk,
know they're still
They
they
filming.
still
had it
making
about
it.
COVID, and I was
Oh,
like, that's
yeah.
so
No
disrespectful.
way.
Yes.
They had it about COVID.
Yeah,
they're
while
like
it was
during a
going on.
pandemic, yeah.
While it was going on, they were releasing episodes about COVID.
Yeah.
I guess it's
Like,
the.
you need to get vaccinated. I mean, you should, but like,
I guess
you know.
it's, I don't say shit like that in my show.
Yeah,
bro.
you'll
I
get
have
copyrighted.
a diverse.
you're right.
Diverse.
You will get flagged if you mention
audience.
COVID.
Really
You're gonna get what?
Flagged by YouTube.
Oh.
flagged. Even Instagram does it, where they put like
Oh yeah, misinformation.
this source. That's
Yeah.
crazy, huh? That shit's insane. It's
Yeah.
fine. But yeah, like I don't know. That's why I have such a hard time watching those shows. When there's other shows out there like The Office that are a bit more realistic. I mean, I guess just
I would say Seinfeld is more realistic than The Office.
fuck no, bro. Seinfeld?
Bro.
No way. Seinfeld is so goofy, bro. It's like Seinfeld reduces. I'm not saying it's a bad show. It's a good show. And even I was playing it, and my brother had never seen it before, and I was playing it at the house because I was binging it at home. So whenever I would go over, I would just play it. And my brother was like watching it. He was like, "Wow, that's actually really funny." He was laughing and shit. He's like, "It's a really good show." And I was like, "Yeah, dude, it was the best show on TV for like a long time."
Yeah.
But I feel like Seinfeld, it's funny, but it does reduce like all of New York to like a room full of people. Like everything just kind of connects, you know what I mean? But New York is a big place, bro, and shit like that.
Not realistic in terms of the setting, but like the situations. That's like it's the fact that it's still relatable 30 years after it aired. It's like these specific instances, like oh my god, it's just like when,
It's definitely relatable.
yeah.
I will say that.
It's
I
like
guess-
there was like the episode about when Jerry goes on a date with a girl, like several dates, it's going really well, and then one of his friends mentions how big her hands are.
Yeah.
And then he can't unnotice how big her hands are. And like they make them all beefy in the show, like the
Yeah.
cut scenes, like she rips a
Yeah.
lobster in half.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
he stops
yeah.
talking to her because of her hands.
Yeah, yeah,
Or one like he goes on a date with a girl and she eats one olive at a time.
yeah.
And he's like, "That's so weird. Why would you do that?"
And he just
stops talking to
hyper-focuses.
her.
But I do think like there's that one episode where his boss gives him tickets or something, and he doesn't send him like a thank you call or a thank you note, and then he's just expecting the tickets for like the next game too, but they're not coming. And he's like, well, did you send him a thank you like note? And he's like, no, I didn't think I had to do that. Like, we're adults and shit like that. But then it ends up that being the reason why he didn't get the tickets the next
The
time.
second
So,
time?
yeah, that stuff is super relatable. Like, I do find myself watching sci-fi. I guess what I meant from The Office is like, for example, when like Pam and Jim are like flirting, and like everybody notices, and like everybody knows that it's like a thing. You know what I mean? And like that to me is like, or like how awkward it can be when a manager makes a joke and it doesn't land because these people aren't your friends and stuff like that. Like, you guys are working together and shit like that. And sure, as the show progresses, like it turns into something different. But that's why I really enjoy the first couple of seasons, because for me, especially because my mom used to work at a paper company. So like a lot of the shit that they were talking about, even though it was in English, and my mom used to talk about it in Spanish because she worked in a paper place in Juarez. It was very relatable. Like, or the cartridge ink. My mom knew what cartridge ink they were talking about, and the type of paper and shit like that too. So it was really, really cool to me to see stuff like that. And the warehouse too, like all the paper boxes and the cranes and all that shit. Like, it was really fun because I used to play around in that shit when I was a kid. So it was like super relatable. But it was more of like just an office setting, like with the phones going off, and like how awkward some people were, and like how having somebody like Dwight who like instigates shit and like takes some stuff and makes people really uncomfortable and shit like that.
And I love that that's able to be such a successful show, because it romanticizes the idea of working in an office. That's why I would love to work in an office.
Yeah, exactly.
Water cooler
Yeah.
conversations, like
Yeah,
stuff like that.
yeah,
She
yeah.
worked in an office for a while and she didn't like
And
it. I
I
was like,
didn't
how do you
like
not
it.
like it?
You worked in an office?
Yeah, as
Where?
in Anson, when I used to
Oh,
be
when you were in there.
Yeah, I
Put
didn't
the
like
Instagram
it.
here.
Put the Instagram here of Anson 11.
Anson.
I was also thinking about Anson because of how uncomfortable your bosses made you
Yeah.
feel.
Oh, you should bleep out every time you say the word, the
Anson.
name of the restaurant.
Anson.
Really?
Wait,
Should I? I don't know.
No.
Maybe.
it's
Wait, what
okay.
did they do? What did they do?
They were just very like. They would make you feel very uncomfortable. Like I had a manager. I'm gonna say it.
Yeah, say it. Go ahead.
And he used to like hit on girls like all the time, and like he would tell me like, do you think this is a good song that I could sing to her? And like I would be like, and like the girl would talk to him back, you know, and like I was just, yeah, it was really uncomfortable.
Yeah, he would
I
make
didn't
like
like
he
it.
would make those jokes that like you would
Mhm.
say like a new girl. We were talking about that.
Oh yeah, he would tell this girl, he was like, stop, like he would always talk back to him, and then like she was like, no, my manager would tell her like to stop saying that because he's gonna make him fall in love with her, and so like I would just like hear this comments, and I was like, ew, like I have to get out of here.
You can't say that to like a
Yeah.
woman. Like, I say that to like a boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like make sure that I'm saying it in the. If I do say ever something like that, I'll make sure to say it like in a joking manner.
Or say
Goofy,
aye
yeah.
after, or stick your tongue out.
Aye. Which she's a fan of doing.
Yeah.
You want to hear the most awkward, like just situation that I was ever in, bro? Like I joined DSP, which is a business fraternity. And so when you're rushing, you have to do a bunch of stuff to join. And one of them was you have to interview every single brother that's in there. So you have to send them a professional email, literally just saying like, hey, do you mind if we talk? It was more about just you doing it because it was a professional
Interview.
yeah, not professional interview, but professional organization. So you had to send an email. You couldn't just be like, hey, do you mind if we have some people would be like cool with it, but other people wouldn't. They'd be like, nah, did you send me an email? Just because also it was like some people would like in between classes would like eat. So they didn't want you to be like, hey, can I interview while they're eating? But other people were cool as fuck, right? So I interviewed this guy, and we got off like super, super cool. Like he was cool, dope ass guy. Like we literally just talked because I went to go eat with all the brothers that were currently there. And I didn't want to ask anybody like, hey, can you sign my paper that I interviewed, like whatever. But he was literally like, hey, let's do your interview right now. Like, what's up? And so we were doing our interview and we got off like super, super well. He even showed me like all these Khan Academy videos for the classes that I was going to take. Not even the ones that I was taking out, but the ones that he knew that I was going to need help. Or he knew that people struggle with the most. Mm-hmm. And he was like, hey, well, when you take the second one, just do this and like whatever. So we got off super, super cool. And my big was really close with him too. So she like set it up and everything. So it was just super cool connection with this guy. When you're in meeting, it's a little bit more formal, especially because it's a business fraternity. So we were having our pledge meeting and so we were having our pledge meeting. I have like 30 people in my class and there was like like 7 brothers in the back because they could come to our classes. If we needed help with anything, coming up with any events, they would help us out. They were super cool, just there to help us out and guide us through the whole event. And a lot of them were bigs from other people that were already there. Your big is like your big brother that like helps you through the process and stuff like that. So I'm up there because I'm the exec of like the pledge class. And halfway, I haven't given my report yet, but halfway through the reports, one of the people in our class, one of my pledge brothers, raises his hand and he's like, hey, there's so many of us. We're like, it's an 8-week process. We're like in week 6.5. And he's like, could we get like a list of everybody's name and a picture? Because I don't know most of these people yet, and we're supposed to be bonding and doing like this whole experience. So I don't know any of them yet. So could we get like a list or something just to help me identify everybody a little bit better? And somebody from the pledge class was about to say something, but that guy that interviewed me, he was there. We were all in suits because you have to dress professionally. He was like, if I may, like, I'd like to say something. And then they gave him the floor, and he was like, well, isn't that like, if you guys don't know each other yet, and you guys are in class and you're supposed to be bonding, isn't that your fault? Like, it's your guys' fault because you guys are supposed to be working together and bonding and doing all this stuff. So really, you guys should be working together, and that's where your brotherhood comes from. So in a way, it's your guys' fault for doing that. And I, trying to be funny, said, hey, fuck you.
In front of everybody.
Fuck you. In front of everybody. So, you know you know those times when like you're talking and then the music cuts off and you say some shit?
Like record scratch?
Yeah, and everybody hears you. As soon as I said, hey, everybody shut the fuck up and looked at me, and I said, fuck you. And everybody was like, just thrown off, bro. Like, that guy gave me the meanest face I've ever seen.
You told him to go fuck himself.
Yeah, I told him to go fuck himself. In front of everybody. In front of his girlfriend, bro. His girlfriend was my pledge mom. Like, I told him, I was like, fuck you to his face, looking straight at him. And then I was just trying to be silly afterwards, and nobody said...
You did like an insecure laugh. I was like...
Nobody said anything. Nobody said shit. Literally everybody was just like... And then he just kept talking. He was just like, yeah, so if you guys want to build something, like instead of making a list, you guys should just hang out. But that's just my 2 cents or like whatever. And then he sat down and I was like, I'm out. I'm out. He's going to kick me out. I was like, this is because they can vote on like who's in and who isn't.
He told me to go fuck myself.
I told him, go. I was like, fuck you in front of everybody. Like one of the most disrespectful things.
Yeah.
I mean, just the most horrible thing that you could fucking do. And nobody said anything, which is even more insane.
Because
like,
you're probably so in shock at why you're gonna do that.
I wish somebody had been like, hey bro, like that's not cool or something, so I could have been like, oh dude, I'm so sorry, like whatever. But we just kept going, like it didn't even happen. But obviously it did.
That makes it so much worse. It makes it way louder.
It was the worst thing in my fucking life, bro. Like, and you know what's funny too? I still had to present after that. I had to go up and I had to present my because I was the community service or whatever the fuck. So I had to present the community service that we were gonna do. So my face is just red the entire time, and you know what? For a second too, I was like, nobody said anything. Maybe it's not as bad as I like remember it. Like, you know what I mean? I was like, maybe nobody said anything. Nobody said shit. I don't think I'm an intimidating figure, so I feel like people would feel, you know, very composed to tell me some shit. Like I'm not like some beefy guy that like gets mad at shit. You know what I mean? I feel like some people would have said some shit, but nobody said anything. And what's funny too is after that meeting we had planned like a social, like to hang out, like whatever, and he stayed. So the whole hour I was just there, and I didn't want to say anything. Like I didn't want to make it worse. I didn't want to go up to him and pretend like it didn't happen, right? But I just knew I had to apologize, and it was just like the worst feeling in the world, bro. Like I just could not believe. And if that's how shitty I was feeling, like I can't even imagine how he must have, like the disrespect that he must have felt, and for him to like just ignore and just stay composed like that was so crazy to me, which is definitely something that I would have done. Like I would have also just like been like, all right, like shit, just go fuck myself, like whatever. I was just trying to help, like whatever. And yeah, so I literally had to wait because I wanted to apologize when he left, so I literally had to wait like another 2 hours before he fucking left, and I was just hawking him the whole time because I was waiting for him to say like, hey, just hoping that he would walk away by himself and not with somebody else. And sure enough, finally he was like, he started saying bye to people and like whatever, and walks out. And as he's walking out, I just went to go talk to him, and I was literally just like, hey man, I'm really sorry about that. Like, I don't know what happened. Like, I guess I just got really comfortable with you. And I promise you that I know it's stupid, but I meant it as a joke. And I know that it's a very professional meeting, and it wasn't the setting. And I understand that. I was like, and then I told him too, because another couple of brothers from my other frat were in there. And I told him, I was like, you can ask this person, you can ask that person. Like, this is not something that I would do. And they know how I meant it. So if it just, that's not who I am, and that's not what I would do. And I'm really sorry, bro. Like, I'm really, really sorry. And he was like, dude, don't worry about it. Like, it's all cool. He's like, thank you for apologizing. Like, that's fine. And I was like, oh my God, bro. Like really, the whole thing about like, I'm getting kicked out or like whatever, that came after. Because in the moment, I was just like, who does that to like another like person? You know what I mean? Like, that's so horrible. Like, just marinating with that feeling in there. Like, just, I've had people throw shade at me, and I'm like, fuck, like, I marinate that shit for a minute. Somebody just outright like saying some shit like that. It was bad, bro. Like, it was, and I still was scared that I was gonna get kicked out like later for like some disrespectful conduct or like whatever. Yeah. People have been kicked out for much less, for like missing a meeting and shit like that. So that was, and then later they told me that he takes meetings very seriously. Like, when, like, it's like a switch, like which is good, right? Because at the end of the day, when you're in those meetings, the more professional that you are, the faster the meeting goes. And sometimes you have like a lot of business to go through, so that's good. But yeah, I told him to go fuck himself. It was the most embarrassing moment.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the last time I had something like that happen. I don't think I've ever had something like that. No, never really.
Yeah, me either.
Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I've had shade thrown at me. Like, the last time I had shade thrown at me. I enjoy it when someone's kind of rude to me. It's like,
I feel like
it's like you're usually in the wrong.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it says more about you than it says about them.
Yeah. Because I remember I was last year I was working at a hospital, and then COVID started getting really bad, and then my grandma was living with me at the time, so I was like, there's no point in me exposing her to this. I could find some other job. So I put my 2 weeks in. I only told my boss, and then I remember on one of my last shifts, I didn't tell anybody because I wasn't really tight with anybody there anyway. And I was putting my stuff away in my locker, and then like some of the nurses and like the CNAs were like, "Oh, we heard you're like leaving. Like, we heard like you couldn't handle it." I was like, I don't know who told you that. Like, I'm still gonna be here.
Yeah.
And I just told them like that.
And then you just never
I
went
just
back.
kept working and never went back.
And then never went back. Nice. Yeah, people are shocked when you don't tell them that you're leaving. And that happened to me too. But I was like, bye.
That's because you used to run the fucking place.
Yeah.
Damn.
That's another thing too, is just people that take advantage of you, especially when you're just trying to help in situations like that. They put the whole like weight on you and stuff, and fuck that.
Yeah. That was one of the reasons why I was very uncomfortable in that job.
Just because of everything that they put on
like
you.
everybody expected me, like once they saw that I was on the schedule, like they didn't have to worry about anything. Like, you know, they knew that I could take care of everything, not everything, but you know, like keep the show going. That's what I didn't like.
I feel like that's like a really shitty thing, but I don't know. Like when I was working retail, like I worked retail for a really long time, and you just realize that one of the reasons why I liked working in the university too is because people here are kind of like driven, you know, like they're
like normal.
They go to class and their
goals.
Yeah, they got goals and shit. And when I worked in other places, it's just anybody can work there. You know what I mean? Like I remember people in like they're 25 and they were still talking about shit like they were like. We've met guys like that. They still talk shit like they were like 17 and shit like that.
You're talking to one right now.
But that's why you got to just pace yourself. Like when I used to work at Adidas, I burned the fuck out of my like just stamina, bro. Like I was trying to do everything, and that's one of the couple reasons why like it took so much attention out of my school. Like my first couple years in college was because I was just focusing on like making money and like doing whatever I could to show that I was like management material.
Did you want to be a manager?
Oh, I wanted it so bad. Yeah, I was like, I could do.
Dude,
this
I
shit.
used to hate your guts.
Jesus Christ!
Like whenever
2 weeks ago?
No, not 2 weeks ago. Not hate. Hate is a strong word. I just like I found myself like not getting along with you.
Yeah.
When you became president of the fraternity.
Yeah.
Because it just like, or no, when you were vice president and then when you became president, we just like. Everything that I thought about, you disagreed with, and it almost felt. I made it in my head that it was personal. I was like, "This guy was my friend a week ago, and now he's against everything."
You know what's funny
for.
is I would see it the other way around. I would see that everything that I wanted to do, you would disagree with, and I was like, "What the fuck, bro? Like, what am I doing wrong?" Because at the end of the day, like I remember being just a general member and had a lot of ideas, and I wouldn't do anything about it, and nothing would get done. Like just things kind of wouldn't happen. Which at the same time, some of them were fine. Like we were all over the place.
Yeah.
And we were also starting something, so our priorities, everybody's priorities were a lot different, and our communication was weird because just try doing something like that. You know what I mean? Just try putting basically a non-profit organization together with a bunch of other fuckos that like are worried about a million other things along with school and work and all that stuff. But I could tell that you took it super personal.
That's what I was like when you said you want to be a manager. I'm like, now I would totally be like
That's
behind
what you say,
you,
bro. Fucking
no,
2 hours into a meeting, he'd go right back into doing the same shit as before.
No, if you were like, if we worked in like some office setting, and
Yeah.
I don't have issues with authority. It's just when
I doubt that very much. From experience. I would have to experience you not having a problem with authority.
dude, no, I speak to like the police like super respectfully.
Yeah.
If they
Yes,
deserve
sir.
my respect, they're like, yes sir,
Yeah.
no ma'am. Yes, ma'am. You know. But I don't know. It's just different. It's just different when your friend.
I remember
is
you
telling
told me that. You were like, all this shit that you're doing, like, I don't have an issue with it. I just have an issue with that you're saying.
Yes.
And I was like,
Why?
I don't know, because it's like suddenly that's like a power dynamic in
it
meeting.
wasn't a power
But
dynamic
it's
though.
in meeting, though. You know what I mean? And then like I just felt like shit in shoes. You know what I mean? And like suddenly you're telling me what's going on. I'm like, dude, I wrote the scripture, bro. That's how I felt. That's how I felt.
Word,
so it was
word,
like,
word,
I
word.
feel like it was undeserved. It was all in my own head. It was like I was going through a lot of stuff.
And I find myself too, like, don't think that it was all on you, because I find myself too.
No, it's all
like,
on you. Like you're the bad guy. You're the bad
It's your
guy.
fault.
Yeah.
I find myself too, like, even now, when they ask me for advice and stuff like that, and I'll just go on because I know exactly what the fuck to do, because we struggle with that shit and I know where we went wrong. So I'll be pushing people to do this stuff a certain way, and all of a sudden I realize that I'm the only one in the room talking and everybody's just kind of like there, like, and I'm like, fuck, I need to step back and make sure that everybody's putting in their input and that like there's different perspectives. Even though I might know the correct way, you kind of have to let other people do their thing too, because at the end of the day, we're all thinking that, so I could be wrong too. Everybody's thinking that they know what to do, that nobody's thinking I'm wrong and I don't know what the fuck is going on. So maybe at some points I was coming in a little bit strong, like, this is what we're gonna do and like this is what's going on and all that shit. And I've caught myself with that shit before too. I've never had a problem with anybody else, but it seems to only be you. But whatever, you know, like it's cool. But I will say that at the end of the day, sometimes, I don't know, I feel like I'd rather be having those struggles than not having them.
Mhm.
Because when you're not having the conversation, then that's, and I've even in relationship and stuff, like I talk to her about that all the time. Where I'm like, I mean, there's definitely I guess a line, whatever, when you're just like complaining about stupid shit that's out of everybody's control, and it's really just an insecurity that you might have and and whatever. But at the same time, I'd rather be having the conversation than not having it.
Like you would have power struggle in your relationship. That's what's going on.
Not power struggle, but definitely communication struggle.
Yeah.
Or I guess, I mean, I don't know, because like for me, it was never like a power struggle. But maybe that's just because I was the one with the fucking
Damn.
you
With
know,
the balls.
with the balls. You know what I mean? I don't know. What do you think?
What do I think? Let me get started. Just kidding.
Pulls out her
Let
notes.
me. Well, I mean, it's because
To be fair, I'm a lot to deal with.
yeah,
No, I could imagine.
a little bit. Kind of like what you said. I feel like whenever I tell him something, like he just like counteracts and whatever
Mhm.
like I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, you
And
guys have been together a long time.
Yeah, we've
so
been
it's
together
like,
for a year, 2 years.
A year and a
Almost,
half.
yeah.
that's a long time.
That's a
Yeah.
long.
And then like constantly talking to them. That's a long
It's the
time.
longest.
I
time.
remember I hang out with. I remember we would go there with Josh, like one of my close friends. I'd go with stretches where I'd hang out with him every day.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Every day I'd see him,
But
and then
like,
we'd
see,
start
we don't
fighting.
see each other every day.
Not every day.
Yeah, no.
That's a good. I think that's good.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
not that it's good,
I'm like, yeah, it is totally good.
but it's like I would catch myself like if I hang out with someone for too often,
Trying to kiss Josh or what?
there's problems. It just gets snippy.
You
and
know,
it's like,
you know what the crazy part about that is, and the first time that I ever experienced that was with Aguirre, with my best friend, was that we could literally, none of that stuff never happened, but it was just the attitude that we were in, bro, because we both moved into this apartment and we were sharing a room, and I feel like at that point we both had that mentality of like, shit's gonna happen, let's just come in to it with like an open mind. So like I remember Aguirre would just pick up my stuff, like just clean up after me. So then I would clean up after him. I think he did it because I did it for him too, which I didn't mind like doing stuff like that, bro, because I knew that it was just shit that happens, and like I wanted to clean it up and like I would clean it up. But like I would just do stuff like that for him, and then he would do stuff like that for me.
I think with Aguirre, I think the reason it works so well between you guys is like there's no ego. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like one guy definitely has a bigger one than the other one. And the other one's fine with that. But like with Josh, like he has big, I have a big ego as well. So like if I imagine sharing a room with him, he's going to be the kind of guy to like throw a pillow at me when I'm sleeping. Like, shut the fuck up, you're snoring.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
things like that.
well, you see, that's the thing is that Aguirre and I both come from like having brothers and shit.
I did the same thing.
I
I
know-
did that to my brothers as well.
I know. So that might not be like the only factor, but like, for example, like I knew right away that the way that I handle my situations at home is not what I can do outside. And I feel like a lot of people don't have that distinction.
Mm-hmm.
Where like the way that I handle issues at home, because it's weird, but because we would talk about it all the time. Because we were literally hanging out every single day, but we never got tired of each other, ever. I remember when I would go to Kangaroo and I would tell him because he was going off somewhere or whatever, and he wanted to do something else, and he's like, "What are you doing?" And I'd be like, "I'm just gonna go to Kangaroo," and I'd be like, he'd be like, "Okay, well I'll go with you," and I'd be like, "Well, dude, I'm literally just gonna sit there and drink a beer and like just stare at the wall. Like I'm really not doing anything. Go do your thing." He'd be like, "Nah, I don't care. Like let's go do that." We'd just be there, just chilling and talking. But I don't know how to articulate it, which is rare for me. But it was literally just like, or I guess maybe this is just how I feel. He just doesn't give a fuck, bro. You're gonna ask him, and he's just gonna be like, "Yeah, I don't fucking care," but like whatever. But we were literally just both in this state where we knew that it was just about being accepting about everything. Like literally everything. I knew that, like, I didn't move into that place thinking, here's my dick. You guys got to respect my rules, house rules, do this and do that. This is what we're doing. I was literally just like, let's figure it out. Whatever works. Like we set up like, oh, I take care. Like, for example, Aguirre cooks. So I was like, okay, you cook, bro, and I'll do the dishes and everything else. Appliances too. Like when we put the AC in, like I did that shit. You know what I mean? Because this is stuff that I knew how to do. And he would take care of the food and he didn't mind. So we really, instead of coming in thinking this is what I want, we would just come in and thinking what works, like what's best for everybody. Like, and when somebody fucks up, like I remember thinking when somebody else fucks up, how would I like for somebody to react when I fuck up? You know what I mean? Like when I made that mistake, which is rare, how would I like somebody else to react to me? You know, would I like them to be understanding? Yeah, of course. Would I like them to listen? Of course. So then I just did the same thing. You know, I don't know if that's true for our relationship. I don't know if you feel that way, but I don't know. What would you say was like one of the most difficult things about getting? Because I know I'm a lot.
About what?
I know I'm a lot. I know I'm a huge case, and I know that I talk about everything. I talk a lot. I literally talk so much to her, like just so much, like about anything. And then I'll go into like 3 different tangents and shit, and then I'll just backtrack, and she doesn't even remember where the fucking conversation started at. But I bring it back to a full circle.
It's a full circle with Lechuga.
Yes.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Like, what's like the grossest thing about Lechuga?
Live on TV.
Or like the most irritating thing or the grossest thing?
The grossest thing?
Gross is more irritating thing.
Or irritating.
Nothing's gross about
What do you mean gross?
I guess
What do you mean by that?
irritating.
You.
That's always been your problem. It's always been about
See
you.
what the fuck I'm talking about, bro? This is shit I gotta deal with all the fucking time.
I have a hard time sleeping, and the Lechuga falls asleep in 3 seconds.
Mm.
That's one of them.
And you get annoyed about that?
Yeah.
I'm a hardworking man, bro.
Damn.
Yes. So
Like
then he starts
cartoonsy?
snoring. Yes.
That's kind of sweet, though. I was like, like he's possessive, like he's
No,
manipulating.
no.
I
He's a
can't
very
say I'm very
respectful
possessive.
boyfriend and
Yeah.
loving boyfriend.
Yeah.
I
Thank
can
you.
say that.
It's just cool as fuck. You say
Get a
something.
room.
But you've had relationships for way longer, though. You
Just
were in a
one.
relationship.
What's been your longest
Was it
relationship?
seething just
Almost.
fucking contempt for each other or what towards the end?
It's like 3.5 years.
Jesus.
And then the
That's
last,
a long time.
like, and then another half, like, off and on.
How long have we known each other, Q? How long have we known each other? Like maybe 2.5 years.
No, it's like
No,
4
longer.
now.
No, yeah, because
It's like
the
4
fight
now.
out.
Fido. Yeah, 2018.
Wow,
he was a
okay.
colony member, too.
Oh,
5
true.
years.
Yeah, it's been 4
Never
years.
mind. We've known each other for a long time. That's true.
It doesn't count.
Kind of like a year and a half with everybody. So, whatever.
Yeah. But, yeah, I mean, it was, but it's like, I think a year and a half of it was high school, the relationship. So it's like, it doesn't, I don't count it
So
as
it doesn't
much.
count or what?
Not as much.
It counts.
High school?
Yes.
I think like my senior year counted.
Because I think there's a reason that we broke up in college. It wasn't because she went to a different university. It's because it's just it's college.
Well, it's because you start like you do kind of start like developing yourself. And
Yeah, and I just feel like I was missing out on a lot. And
With her? Like while you
being
were
with her, I feel like I was missing out on what college was.
Right.
I just bought into
Really?
the whole thing. I bought into the whole done party. And
Well, I will say that is part of it, though. You definitely need to figure out who you are first before you start. And I feel like making that transition from dating in high school when your
But
your world is so small.
Because you were with that person.
that's true. Yeah.
So you can't say.
Yeah, that's true. That is, yeah. No,
Because like think about it, like I always thought about it this way too. I was like freshmen in college are just seniors. Like you were barely
high
getting
school?
used to being a senior in high school, and then
Yeah.
you fucking switched. Same thing like when you were a junior, you're really just a sophomore because you just hopped into that shit. It
Yeah.
takes you a minute to like learn how to. I mean,
Transition.
not that you change your personality depending on like what year you're in, but things are different. Like
Yeah.
college is getting closer. Like separating from people is getting closer. You joining organizations is getting closer and all that
Yeah.
stuff. And so I feel like it takes everybody a minute to adjust.
The reason I asked like irritating things is like I was disgusting. Like looking back, I was like
You were
that's such a
disgusting?
gross boyfriend.
Gross
Yeah.
or what?
I was super jealous about everything.
Oh.
I was super possessive about everything.
Yeah. I remember she would drive you everywhere.
Oh, that's good. I didn't have a car.
Which was insane
She
to
was,
me.
yeah, she was so selfless. Like I took
Insane,
advantage of
yeah,
that so
insane to
much.
me.
Like I got mommied. It was really, I
Yeah.
took advantage.
Like
Yeah.
she told you what to do.
No, in a good way. Like she would make me lunch. She would pick me up from school, pick me up from practice.
Yeah.
Like do everything.
That's
And I was
crazy.
just a dick.
Really?
an asshole.
How?
I was just
This
like
guy was a fucking dick.
about
dude. This
everything
guy's a
she
dick.
liked. I did not let her have her own personality.
There's
If
a reason why Lujan and I didn't become friends till like we got to college.
But like it used to be a problem when she would play her own music because I hated her
you would-
music. I'm like, no,
Wow.
it's me. Like you're driving, I get to put my music because I'm.
You're doing the chore.
Yeah.
I get to enjoy the ride.
It was like things like that, or like if the way she would chew would have an issue. It was just like these little
Really?
things that's like.
Oh.
Do you think
I guess
that
you were
stem-
just annoyed.
I think I was annoyed.
Yeah.
Do you think that would
Like-
just stem from you though? Like
100%
definitely,
it's me.
Like something.
100% it's me. I
Yeah.
was the bad guy. 100%.
Where do you think that started like turning around?
Like when it turned into being a bad guy.
No, when it turned into like, for example, me, I think I had a lot of like issues with people too, of like shit that they did and like shit that I wasn't cool with. But it was more about me not putting myself out there, not having enough experience to realize that some stuff just doesn't matter. Like
I think it was pretty recently where I came at that discovery. Like, oh, people can be different. From
yeah,
me.
yeah.
It's like
They can have their own
it's not them
personality.
being annoying. It's them being who they are. And it
Word.
took me a long time to realize that.
Like one of the things that my brother and that all my family did is we tease people. Like we would tease people about shit like that they do. And I remember this really shitty story when one of my cousins, their younger brother, he was also my cousin, but the youngest one. But I grew up with the other ones. The other ones were always just really small. But one of the small ones, he had like kind of like a speech thing that he
Like a
was,
stutter.
not a stutter, but I think they have a real stutter. They my older ones, but the younger ones, because they grew up with them, they would imitate it. You know what I mean? So, but they would tell us like he doesn't have that. Like we have that, but he doesn't, and he's just doing it because of us. And we've told him not to do it anymore. So we would like joke about it, I guess, because of how he would call them by their name. He would say their names differently because of that thing. But it wasn't like a stutter. It was just literally just something else
Like
that he
waist
developed.
cow? Like that.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
something else that he developed, right? I'm super analyzing it right now, but I'm sure everybody has something like that in their family when kids are growing up and shit. But we would just kind of joke about it. My parents and I, we would call my cousin by the name that his younger brother would call him by. And everybody would laugh. It was never even a thing.
so fucked
Literally, it was just like a flash of a
I know,
thing.
making fun
So
of-
fucked up.
It sounds fucked up because I'm hyper analyzing it right
Like,
now.
yeah, why don't we call Richard? He's a little kid.
And it's your family
Yeah.
too.
And it's my
not a
family
big
too,
deal,
so like it's
yeah.
chill. Like they tease me all the fucking time, and it was whatever. We beat the fuck out of each other, and it was fine. By the next time that we showed up to the fucking gathering, we were ready to go, and all was forgiven by the time that we just like kind of hung out again. And one time, my tia, she posted something on Facebook, and my mom hadn't seen him in like 6 months or something, just because we got busy and stuff. And my mom saw that he had grown up, and she put a comment. She was like, "Oh, I can't wait to hear him speak. Like I can't wait to hear him talk."
She commented that.
My mom, but she didn't mean it like that. She meant more like because she was always like really like she always just talked to him, like, and he would talk to her, and it was just funny. She would like, it was a little interaction that they had. They would always sit down and they would talk and shit. And she meant to like that, like talk about like, cause he would talk about like his school and
like catch up with him.
Catch up with him, and he would sit down with her and talk about shit with her. Yeah. I never knew that it happened because I was out playing with my cousins, but my mom told me that that's something that they would do. It was like just a small thing. I used to do shit like that. I remember that I had a tia that would like it when I sung Juanes to her. Whenever my grandma was on the phone, she'd be like, "Mira, tu tía," and like I'd get it, and she'd be like, "Cántame, mijo," and like I would sing to her and shit, and like so stuff like that. And it was one of those things, and she did it like that, and everybody from that side of the family just like started saying shit to my mom, like, "I can't believe you guys are bullying him," and like all this shit. So I get home from school, and my mom's like, "What did you guys do to like your cousin?" And I was like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" And she was like, "Yeah, I just got bombarded on," and it's because I guess they didn't like that at all. You know what I mean?
And they didn't know either.
They didn't know either. You know what I mean? Because we like, obviously, and I've said this a million times, I would never do something, and that's also what happened in the other side. Like, I would never do something or say something to you when we're not laughing together. You know what I mean? I would never just outright insult you for whatever reason. That's just not something that I do.
Well,
like we knew that when you do shit like that, and it was my parents, like I could tease my brother as long as it was funny and we were both laughing together. If I was talking shit, then I would get in trouble. But if it was just something funny, then it was like whatever. Like if I dropped my food and then they were making fun of me dropping my food, okay, they're not trying to make me feel bad. It's just something funny that happened, and you have to learn to laugh along with everybody else, to not take yourself so seriously, and to know that, hey, like, we're just joking around. Like you pick on us and you condition and we can take it, and this is just the parameters that we've set, and it makes for a lot like more interaction and a lot cooler jokes and stuff like that.
It was the opposite in my family. It was like, not with my parents, but with my brothers. It was like we would go personal.
Word.
The most personal things. We talk shit about each other's girlfriends. Like it was when we were really young.
Right.
Yeah, it's the exact opposite.
That's
only
what I'm
now
saying.
is playful.
Were you the youngest?
Yeah, youngest of four. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. And those are the things that
Poor you.
those are the things that I had to realize, that not everybody's like us. Like I can't just go around
talking shit,
projecting.
Nice hat, you idiot. That's kind of fun though. If somebody you knew somebody like that, it's kind of fun. Yeah, it'd be hilarious.
I think it's
just
funny.
Picking on people. That's crazy. Nobody does it anymore.
So I think that like that's one of the things that I learned right away. Like
shoulder checking people in the hallways in college, like stuff like that.
Yeah, shit like that. Punching people for cup checking and shit like. So I was like, that's one of the things I learned right away is I mean we fixed that whole thing because it was really just a misunderstanding. But I realized that just because I in my family do something a certain way and I think that it's funny, and even if I think it's endearing and like cool, not everybody works like that. Like not everybody works like that, and like some people are genuinely gonna get mad if you do shit like that. So you just gotta know how to like not bump into people, not rub people off the wrong way. I mean, we've all felt that, where some guy that like comes in and hugs you too much or touches you too much or something, and you're like, fuck out of here, bro. Like, what the fuck? One of Adriana's friends, when we first started hanging out with friends, one of our work friends, was like all over me. He was like grabbing me and doing shit like that. Like
give you noogies?
Oh yeah.
No, like he like kissed me too.
Yeah.
And like kissed me. And now I'm like used to shit like that. He's like a football player.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
like
so
locker room stuff?
Yeah.
They usually kiss in the locker room. They don't show
They're
that.
all touchy.
Yeah. They don't show that.
They make out all the time.
Teen Wolf, they don't show that shit. But
like, let's go.
Did you guys do that in lacrosse?
Fuck no.
If we had a locker room.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But did you do that in wrestling, Q? Grabbing each other's fucking junks and shit.
Yeah, when you're
all
wrestling.
The time?
Yeah.
Yeah, not even on the mat or anything. But so like that, and then Adriana asked me later. He's like,
are you okay with that?
Is that cool? Yeah. Like whatever. And I've dealt with shit like that, like along, like
just dudes kissing you.
Just dudes that are like that are like more like homie, bro, me, like all that shit, and then they'll do shit like that. And so I've learned how to deal with stuff like that, and I'm used to it. And like it's whatever, like a fish in water, I don't care. Put your hands all over me, bro. I don't give a fuck. Do it more.
Like I was uncomfortable for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, that there's not a lot of people who feel that way or who do things like that or that are even cool with that amount of interaction or shit like that. You know what I mean? So you gotta know that not everybody is gonna be like that. You just gotta be a little bit different. Like you just gotta know
how to read people.
Not how to read people, but just not impose your personality on everybody
yeah.
else. And that's okay. That's fine. There's more than one way to skin a cat. There's more than one direction. It's like those people that just want to play their own fucking music in the aux.
Yeah.
Not knowing that other people can actually bring something to the party too. You know what I mean? People ask me too. Don't point at me like that. People ask me too. I have screenshots of people being like, Lechuga's going to put his phone and shit. Where's Lechuga's phone so we can play music and shit?
Q looks a little mad.
Really?
I mean,
that's the face of somebody that's mad?
Not everyone wants to listen to Quinn 92 all the time.
I've never heard of anybody that doesn't want to listen to Quinn 92 all the time.
Me.
Let me be the first. Yeah. But yeah, so just recently you'd say that you made that switch.
Super recently where I realized
just
people were their own
open
people.
and
Every people are different. I had a hard time like realizing that people think differently than me, and that doesn't make them wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I used to think that I was right.
Yeah.
And if I was wrong and they thought differently, I don't know. It was just, I don't know, still working on it.
Word. No,
Yeah.
it's tough. I'm telling you. And
Yeah.
I feel like that's with everything, bro. Like even going being more social. Like I feel like what's going on down there? The fuck is going on?
I thought it was a pipe. I was gonna put my feet up. Yeah. Don't worry about it.
It's cool. I'm a pretty chill guy. I think that goes with everything. Like even being more social.
Mm-hmm.
Like somebody who's not used to hanging out in big crowds.
You know what stuck with me for a long time? I think it's what helped me realize this too. Is I remember it was me, you, and JP. We were at your apartment, and I remember we were like, I just said like, yo, let's just rate each other, like 1 to 10
Yeah.
physically, and then also like
we were doing a podcast.
Yeah.
One of my many attempts.
And then and then I remember you told me like personality. You said 6, and I was immediately like, what are you talking about? Like, why am I even here?
What the fuck?
If you
Why
think
am I
that,
sick?
if you think that, why do you invite me to
Yeah.
fucking come over just to make fun of me?
Yeah.
And then but you said it's because I have a hard time warming up to people, or like I have a hard time getting comfortable.
Yeah.
And like since then, I've like worked on that because nobody's told me that. I've never realized that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I got you.
Lechuga does
Yeah.
give good criticism.
Good criticism. Yeah.
Well, and it goes in the same way that like I would like somebody to say some shit like that to me too.
Oh, really? Well, I think that you're.
But again, like you, it's because, bro, to be able to say things like that, like you gotta really just measure people, because it's more about, you'd be surprised, it's a lot of the times about how you say something, not even what you say. It's you know, like it's hard, bro. Like it's difficult to say things like that to people. And for people to just know that it's coming from a good place. That's really, at the end of the day, what, like, I remember, like, and I got that shit from my dad, bro. Like, I got that shit from my dad and my parents, where they were like, I remember sometimes we would be, like, waiting in line in a really long fucking place, or, like, doing something that I just didn't want to do, having to wash cars or whatever. And it was just in a shitty thing, bored or whatever. And I'll tell my dad, like, why are we here? Like, why are we doing this? Like, this sucks. I don't want to do this, like, whatever. Like, I remember waiting in line at the bridge. And he would look at me. He's like, "You think I want to be here? Like, you think I want to be here waiting in line doing this?" And I'd be like, "Well, no." He's like, "Okay, so we're just going through it together. It's not supposed to be fun." You know what I mean? That type of conversation led me to knowing that, like, other people are just like you, and like, just like you don't like when people say shit to you, other people don't like it when you say shit to them. But people feel very entitled to just point out what's wrong with everybody else and not look inward. So before you do any of that stuff, the number one thing that you have to realize is that you got shit going on too. And you can't just ignore that and just focus on everybody else. So, like, anything that I would say to anybody else, I have to be okay with receiving too. The thing is, sometimes people just really say really shallow, stupid shit. You can tell how selfish something that somebody else is telling you when it's more pointing you in a direction of how you should live, instead of giving you the tools to deal with the situation that you're currently in, you know? Like, and shit like that is like a breath of fresh air, bro. When somebody says like really just something like an advice to me that it's actually helpful, it's like a breath of fresh air, because you have too many people who just say shit. Oh, I think it should be like that. I remember, for example, this quinceañera that I was in with my cousins. By the way, tell me to shut the fuck up if you want me to shut the fuck up. Like, I'll shut the fuck up.
Go for it.
If you're like, I want to talk or I want to say some shit, go ahead and interrupt me. But I remember when we were in this quince for my cousin, and so all the chambelanes, because there's all chambelanes, were all her cousins. So we're all family. And the girls were her only friends, but then the girls got kicked out. Like 2 practices in because they were all just being girls talking and shit, like whatever.
Yeah,
and they
women
didn't
like
that
talking.
shit. Yeah, they didn't like that
Yeah.
shit, so they kicked them out. So it was
Yeah.
all dudes, just
Yeah.
dudes. Passing her, like when we were dancing, we would pass her around like to dance and shit. So it was like most of the dance you were just standing there like not doing anything. But that was the final product. Anyway, her family would be telling us like, don't do that, do this. Don't do that, do this. Don't do that, don't do it like that. Make it more flowy. Do shit like that. But I realized later on, they didn't know how to dance, bro. They didn't know how to dance either. They didn't know how to put a dance together. They were looking at clips on YouTube of professionals that were doing dances, and they were like, look, it's that simple. It's that easy. Why don't you do that? And they were trying to get us to do that. But they didn't know that there was a big difference on not only what you were doing, you were coaching somebody, and you were also trying to get somebody who's never danced before to do something that professionals do that we're getting paid to. You know what I mean? Like, you got to take all these parameters into effect. For example, when my parents were teaching me how to drive, they thought it was frustrating because they knew what to do, but I didn't know what to do. So they would get mad when I didn't do the things that they would give me very vague instructions to do. Like, drive. Well, it's not just driving. How hard do I press the pedal? I've never pressed the pedal before. I don't know what the mileage is. I don't know how fast I can turn at a certain speed. Because if you're going really fast and you try to turn, obviously the car's going to fucking yank. Right? But I don't know that because I've never driven before. But they don't think that that's something that they should say because they don't know how to coach somebody into doing something. So it's just all these parameters, and people think it's just so easy to say things, but it's not. You got to focus on who you're saying it to, where is it coming from, how important is this to say, and are you giving clear instructions? Like, just things like that. I mean, further down the line, it just becomes all organic.
I think with the parents too, I think it's hard to even think like, oh, my kid knows best. He knows what he's doing.
Right. Yeah.
Because that's usually not the case, especially like when you mentioned driving, like with Josh, like they should have never put him behind the wheel in high school. I mean, we got in so many
Really?
accidents.
So many accidents and
because of him.
Gomez?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just being like
Yeah.
a bad driver.
They-
I remember
they
one
gave
time.
him a tank to drive to school. Like, go, you're good.
I remember one time we were like in a red light or something, and we were all laughing, and Gomez was like looking at his phone on the red light, and Lujan was like, all right, dude, just go.
And he
Would let go of the fucking, he would press the gas or let go of the brake, whatever the fuck made that car go forward, without looking up.
And then he got
realize-
mad at me.
Yeah, and he would get mad at me. And then he'd be like, fuck, bro, why'd you do that shit? He would go back on his phone. He's like, all right, now for real, go, bro. And it still was red. And he would
Oh my
just go. And I
God.
was like, bro, like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, that shit was, and I was in the backseat, like, laughing my ass off. It was so funny. But yeah, it's just.
I mean, it's hard to trust, I don't know,
Yeah.
somebody else's intuition.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like this one time I was in high school and we went to like go get lunch or something, and like on our way back we saw some friends, and my friend was driving, and like he got a water bottle and he was throwing it, but he was like looking forward, but I was like in the passenger seat, and then like he like sped up so that we could catch up to his friend, and then he like throws the water bottle. As he's throwing it, we like, crashed into this other car, and then he was like, see what you made me do? And I was like, it's not my fault. Like, what the heck? Yeah.
That's like something else that like I feel like
Yeah.
most people don't have is like accountability.
Yeah,
Like,
and then he
accountability.
was
That's the
like,
most
you were supposed to be
irritating
looking
thing.
and telling me, and I was
like, you're
like,
driving, bro.
Yeah.
yeah. And also, who told me to keep a look? He didn't say
like
shit.
exactly. And so
Accountability 100%.
Yeah.
Like that's to just be able to admit like, oh, you fucked up.
Mhm.
And that's like the first dimension, and then the next dimension is like when someone else fucks up, don't
rub it in their face.
rub it in their face. Like,
Yeah.
just be like, okay, it happened. Something like
With my friends though, like if they do something like they wrong me or something, I'm like, then they apologize a certain way.
that.
Like I remember I had a friend that said something like really fucked up to me, and I got annoyed. I was like, that's fucked up. He's like, I'm sorry you feel that way. I was like, that's not a real apology. Like I'm kind of annoying when it
Yeah.
comes to stuff
I'm
like
sorry
that.
that you feel
I can be-
way.
That
Yeah.
you feel that way.
I can
Yeah.
be dramatic. Oh, ooh, my shit.
Oh no, it's me. It's me.
And
What the fuck is going on down
Sorry,
there?
it's because I
Damn.
keep playing with the wire.
like I'm pretty dramatic. I
Yeah.
think like I think I'm pretty dramatic. So it's like, if you're gonna apologize, like just say like I'm sorry I did that. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It made it worse that he was like, I'm sorry you feel that way.
Word. Like you're
Yeah.
not.
I don't want to
You're
hang out
not
with you.
apologizing.
Yeah, fuck out of here.
Yeah.
That's another thing where it's. Oh, is that you? I was like, what the fuck? I'm just kidding, Q. I love you. But I do think that's something that you have to sometimes give before you receive.
Mm.
Like, you have to be the one that, like, I remember with my parents, like, I really didn't like the type of relationship that they had with their parents, where it was just kind of like, not like I'm the dad, you're the kid, we do whatever the fuck I want to do. I think that to a certain point, there just requires a lot more communication for us to interact and to have deep conversation and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I started breaking that barrier with my parents. Now, I did it when I was older because obviously as a kid, they know better. You should do whatever the fuck. But I started doing that with them. And I remember like, I remember when I like, for everything, I just started telling my parents like, I love you. Like to their face. I was like, I love you.
Yeah.
Like, I'll see you later. I love you.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. And then my mom, like, right away, she was like, I love you too. And like, shit like that. And I remember I was having a conversation with all of us. It was me, my brother, my mom, and my dad. And my brother was just kind of like, why don't you just talk to my uncle and fix all this like past shit? You know how these fucking Mexican families are. They got like all this beef from the past. And then I told him, I was like, well, because you think that it's easy to just have these conversations the way that we're having them right now, things that we've built over the years, forms of communication and stuff, to other people. And I was like, think about the way that my dad used to talk to his dad. And then my dad was like, yeah, dude, like I remember like even a couple years ago, I hugged him, my grandpa. He's like, I hugged him and I told him, I love you. And he was just like,
Cool.
He just like patted him on the back and like walked away.
Yeah, it's different.
Yeah, and because he came from a completely different time.
Especially with like old school Mexicans.
Like,
Yeah, exactly.
My mom still, like, I hug her and like I tell her I love you. She's like,
yeah. But
Just
again,
tough.
she's very
again, because it's also
It's
tough
all-
for them.
yeah.
Like it's just not something that they're used to. It was funny. It's my dad was like, and I did it again like a year later. I hugged him during Christmas. I was like, I love you. And same thing.
Yeah.
And you know what's funny is we started laughing.
Yeah.
When he was saying all that shit. It was like a third time when he was living here. He was
they
living with them
like
for a minute.
tough love.
Yeah, like I hugged him and I
Yeah.
told him like I love you. He still didn't say anything. And I was like, and at the end of the day, I was like, you see, but that says more about him. Like I feel bad about the way that maybe he was brought up with his family. And my dad was like, no, 100%. Like I knew he loved me and stuff like that, but it's just different that he couldn't just say it to my face like that because it was they're just not used to being vulnerable like that.
Yeah.
Having that type of and I think that's one of the most vulnerability is one of the most difficult things that you can.
I still have
like,
a hard time with
practice.
that.
Me
Like I only
too.
tell my mom I love her like on her birthday or Mother's Day. I have a really hard time
But
starting it. If she said it to me, I'm gonna say it back, but I can't just be like,
But-
hey mom,
but-
I love you.
Yeah.
But the
I have a hard time.
places you could get to if you get comfortable with that, bro,
Yeah.
are really fucking cool. Now, with your parents, sometimes it's weird. Like,
Whoa, what's going on?
Yeah,
They're
like-
a couple goofballs. What do you mean?
like a. Well, watch your mouth, bro. You know what I'm saying? You fucking call my parents
I
goofballs.
said my parents.
Oh, I thought you said
No,
my
my
parents.
parents are goofballs.
No, but my parents, like, sometimes you get to see like how they would talk to their friends and shit. They just tell me shit that I'm like, oh.
Cringy.
Whoa.
Yeah, I was like, I didn't want to know that. Like,
Oh, like
oh,
that, like they throwing it back, kind of.
no,
Oh.
motherfucker. No. That shit like
I'm
that.
sorry. Yeah.
Just like jokes that they would make with like their friends
Uh,
that like kind of hit weird with your kids.
Yeah.
It's hard to explain. I have to think of a
like it's
specific-
raining cats and dogs, like dad jokes.
No.
You
just
want to
like,
you want to
Like
hear
dirty
one?
jokes?
It's like oh, have you seen the dog bowl? I remember my brother asked me like, yeah, have you seen the dog bowl? And I was like, I didn't even know she could bowl. Kind of like that.
Have you seen that TikTok where the guy's like, where the guy's like, I don't care how dangerous I'm getting a motorcycle. Like they look so cool, and I would love a motorcycle. And then this girlfriend's next to him. She's like, no, you're not getting one. My cousin got a motorcycle, and then he fell, and then he lost an arm and an eye, and now he can't see, he can't use his arm. And he's like, off a motorcycle, an arm and an eye, and she's like, yeah. He's like, whoa, no wonder he fell off the motorcycle. Fucking stupid. It's just funny as fuck. But yeah, I would like, that's the thing. The stuff that you struggle with and the stuff that I struggle with, the stuff that we all struggle with, it's like people don't talk about it.
Mm.
They don't talk about what that's like. They talk to us about other shit. Again, because back in the day, for example, the shit that they talk to us about, which is like get home on time, do your homework, eat well, is because back in the day, that's what kept you alive. Like that's really all you needed. Like you just needed to get to a certain point where you didn't die of starvation. You know what I mean? And that you didn't get in a car crash and shit like that.
Yeah.
But there's room for so much more, and everybody struggles with it. Like vulnerability is something that some people, I've seen people like in their 50s that still can't still think that they're the main character in their own life and everything's got to go their way. I saw one of my friends start fighting with his dad at
Chili's,
no, even a little bit better.
Applebee's,
No,
Red Lobster.
no, kind of
Olive?
like Olive Garden,
Mm.
because his dad just was like, his dad was like, he's like, no, you need religion to properly grow a family. And one of his kids was like, I don't think that's the case. And his dad just got mad as fuck. What the fuck are you talking about? What the fuck do you mean? And then from there, he was like, well, what about this? What about that? And he'd be like, that's stupid. No, that's not how it works. This is how it works and shit like that, right? And I'm like, bro, like that just, the whole conversation just gets thrown out the window.
Yeah, you know what's funny that my dad used to do? He's dramatic too. I think that's where I get it from. But whenever like I would make a mistake or my brothers make a mistake, we'd have like a family discussion. My dad would sit us down and he'd be like, he'd look at my mom and be like, I knew we should have taken him to church more often.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, like shit like that. I remember like, for example, I had really bad grades in school growing up. I've always had bad grades in school. And I remember every single time, bro, my parents would get my report card and they would just, my mom would be like, to her room, and they would just grill me for like 2 hours, bro. Like just these long, just like conversations of like, so what are we gonna do? And I'd be like, they should be like, it's a question.
Try harder.
Well, that hasn't been working. So
What
are we gonna? Because we're here again. But again, after those discussions, I would just keep having bad grades.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think it's because
you never got grounded or anything?
All the fucking time, bro.
That didn't help. That didn't change anything?
No.
Whoa.
Because what would have changed?
Strong will?
What would have changed is for me to come home and then be like, do you have homework? And I'd be like, no. All right, let me see your backpack. Okay, you do have homework. Sit here and do it until you finish it. Maybe help me out with the homework. I didn't know how to do my fucking homework. So like, whatever. Make it, because it was just a difficult thing for me. Because I wasn't used to sitting down and doing my homework. And like, I just didn't. So I just would wait till it blew up in my face. Once I got to like 7th grade, I realized that the papers that they sent home, sometimes if you don't bring it back, nothing happens. They just forget because there's just too many kids. So and then they have multiple classes now. So you're really only there for like an hour and a half, and then you're like somewhere else. So.
I always have this like vivid memory whenever anybody brings up how their parents were like, with education. I remember in 4th grade.
Yeah. What a magical time.
We would have like a weekly like check. They give us homework on Monday, and then it's in your folder, and then you get a grade on Friday. Like you have a whole week. There's no due dates except for Friday.
Yeah.
And I remember I forgot to do one thing, and they gave me like an 87. I started crying, and then my teacher
you were
took
an 8. Straight A student?
No, I mean, I don't know.
Just not an 87.
Just not an 87, a little better than 87. But I was crying in class. My teacher took me. I'm like, what's wrong? And I was like, I got an 87. Like, well, that's okay. Like, that's not that bad. And I was like, my dad's gonna beat me. And the thing is, my dad never did that. And I always think about that. I'm like, she probably got the worst image of my dad when he would come to parent teacher. She would look at him weirdly.
Yeah.
He never laid his hands on me. He never pressured me. He was the nicest guy. I always think about that. Like, I probably made my dad look like a demon.
Yeah.
But I don't remember why I cared so much. What my parents
thought.
Yeah,
Well,
I don't know
you were
what
in 4th
started
grade.
that. Yeah.
You're in 4th
That's
grade.
true.
That's where it starts. Yeah, see, for me, I didn't give a fuck. Like, I
Yeah.
don't care. My parents, like, it's because also, like, it was like, my mom would just get mad. She's like, what the fuck? Like, you're not dumb, dude. If you were dumb, I would know. It's like, you're not dumb. Like, you're not dumb. You're just getting bad grades and shit. But it was just these habits that I had. Well, I guess these habits that we had as a family. That they thought that, like, grounding me was going to work. And it didn't.
That you were going to do your homework
That
by
it was going to
yourself.
make me do my homework, but I fucking didn't. And I just kept getting bad grades. To the point where I would hide it. Like, I would just hide the report. Hope that they would forget and shit like that. They rarely went to, like, parent-teacher conferences and shit like that. Because we had other shit to worry about. Like, where was the food going to come from and shit. You know what I mean? It was just different. So, I don't know. It's just... Honestly, like, all that stuff helps you when you analyze yourself and you realize, like, where all this stuff comes from. And then you can actually start making a change for the better, right? So, like, you can analyze, like, okay, where do these conflicts come from? Why is it that 2 minutes into a conversation with my dad, we're already fucking yelling at each other? You know what I mean? Like, where are the triggers at? How do I feel about this? Like, I don't feel good when I'm angry. Like, I don't want to feel that way. So let's switch it up. Like, it's like stuff like that. Like, I would have a lot of like philosopher debates with my parents, and because they were Catholic, but they weren't that Catholic, but they just grew up thinking that they were Catholic, but they didn't know that much about Catholicism. Yeah. That much more than somebody who, like, just regularly goes to Catholic, like, church. So, like, they would just be stuck in their way that they were, and I was over here being like, nah, that's dumb. Like, that's not right. That's just so we would just start arguing and shit. And, like, now I'm like, that's not, we're not getting anywhere like this. Yeah. This isn't a conversation that I even enjoy having. You know what I mean? But I do want to talk about the things that I want to talk about, and I want to see their perspective on those things. So you gotta, like, I don't know, just tiptoe your way around people, not triggering them, not pissing them off or anything like that. But it's hard, bro. Like, it's just dealing with people is fucking hard. It's so hard that most people are like, fuck this. we're doing it my way.
Yeah.
We're doing whatever the fuck I want to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I will say that it just leads to a lot cooler conversations and a lot cooler interactions with people when you do take the time to build. And like I said, it's like with everything else, bro. Like if it feels like like you're going uphill, at least you're doing it. You know what I mean? Other than like, and that's with everything. That's with. I mean, it's like it's like picking up an instrument. It's like picking up a new class or something. You don't know what you're doing at first. You gotta fucking
learn.
You gotta feel like an idiot first before you start doing it, and but eventually you do. And luckily for me, all of my friends have been very responsive to my tries at vulnerability. So everybody likes that shit. People like talking about stuff like that. You know what I mean? It's part of why we joined a fraternity. Like all the conversations that we got to have with people. Like we were bumping heads, but I remember because everybody was like. Like people would be like, "How are you guys fucking arguing?" And then you get in the same car and you drive home and you go to Cincy. and then they'd be like, "Oh, you know what's funny?" I was like, "We're actually like best friends."
But I think it's because we were also able to talk to each other like in a sort of like confrontational way. We're not scared to hurt each other's feelings.
100%.
So
how many people in the fraternity could we not do that with? As soon as we said some controversial shit, they were just fucking like. At least we were arguing. Yeah. Other people would just be like, "I'm out." Like,
really?
Yeah.
I'm done talking. Like,
yeah, like with Iram, I can't even talk politics because I just get triggered so bad.
For example, like with Iram is one of the people that I just learned to just avoid it. Just avoid the whole thing. There's a million other things we could talk about, and this is a gorgeous little soul of a human being.
Yeah, he's just a little sweetheart.
A little sweetheart, bro.
Just
and
an
like
idiot.
just doesn't know shit about other people's perspectives and shit like that. But you just gotta tiptoe your right. You just gotta pick your battles and stuff, and just realize that there's a lot more dimensions to a human being that you can interact with than what you might be giving them credit for.
Yeah.
Do you guys need a break or what? What's going on?
I don't know. What do you want? What do you want, man?
No. I'm good.
You want to take a break? It's up to you.
No, I'm chilling, bro. I'm good. I feel like I should have been smoking that jewel though. But
is it still leaking?
No, it's not leaking anymore. But I gotta charge it.
You cover like current events, or you don't do that?
We do. The fucking queen died, bro.
Oh yeah. I don't understand why anyone is upset about that.
You know what's crazy is it's gonna be like 2 weeks before I put this shit out. Actually, not anymore because up until recently I have a lot of time on my hands. So I guess this will be out tomorrow. You don't get why people are upset about that?
Dude, it's like if Jeff Bezos died, everyone would be like, "Yeah, the tyrant is dead."
Queen.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah, but
I guess you can have your questions answered right here.
The monarch that's responsible for the downfall of so many countries.
Okay.
What?
Okay.
What?
I didn't see it that way.
No.
I didn't see it that way of like when people were like super attached. When people were upset, I was just like, "What? I didn't know you were keeping up with the queen," type of deal.
It's like a figurehead. They
like
have
if
no
the
power.
Exactly.
Like if the Kardashians died, or just one of them, I know a lot of people keep up with them.
Oh, if all of them died, there'd be a holiday. Like a plane goes down. It's a Kardashian day.
But I know that a lot of people do feel attached to these people because they've just been following them for so long.
That's true. It's
like if
story.
Bad Bunny, something happened to Bad Bunny,
You would die.
I would also do whatever happened to him. I would do to myself, just so that way you go. But I watch his shows. I keep up with his music, and like so I have like this, not relationship, but like this connection, following to this guy. So, but I didn't know people had that following with the queen. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And apparently, so many people around me. To be fair, a lot of people just post shit on Instagram just to feel relatable.
It's like I understand when people.
Look at me, I know what's going on. Oh my God,
we're really
respect.
Yeah, right.
Look at me.
It's like they changed their profile to like the Ukraine flag.
Yeah,
you don't give a shit.
You don't give a fuck, bro.
Like next week, you don't care. Nobody even keeps up on it. It's not even on the news anymore.
No, it's
people are still dying.
Dude. You're just trying to get attention.
They don't care.
Here, bro.
I understand.
It's disrespectful that you do that. If I'm being frankly,
would just post that.
Yeah, just doing that. It's kind of disrespectful.
Yeah.
But whatever. Who listens to me? Nobody watches this shit anyway. So whatever.
It's like I understand when people were upset when Princess Diana died because she was like against like traditional values. She would wear shorts, but she was supposed to be super regal. Like she'd be super like feminist, like pro all that.
Yeah.
So when she was murdered or when she died, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
But when the queen dies at 97, 98.
Yeah, exactly.
She's a billionaire.
Yeah.
What are you upset
about? And
about?
she died at, people are like, she died at 96.
That's a great life.
That's a great life.
The best of lives. Yeah. Prince Charles was like 800. I mean, he looked the part at least.
I'm not saying that like.
How old was he? He was like.
He was like later. He was up there. He was up there.
Something.
I can't say that like, it's not cool to like talk about it.
It's sad that
cool.
someone died.
Yeah, it's sad that somebody died.
Yeah.
It's sad that somebody died, and it was a public figure, and I understand like whatever. But when you're like, oh my god, guys, it's crazy.
can't
No, it's
believe
not. It's
Dude,
life,
There
bro.
were videos of people in the street
Crying.
Bawling.
I'm like, you fucking muppet, what are you doing?
Yeah, what the
It
fuck?
has nothing to do with
crazy.
you. It's like this sense of identity that's so fragile. Like
Yeah.
you cling on to this thing.
Yeah.
It's like when Seinfeld ended, people were freaking out, or like,
Yeah.
not to bring it back to Seinfeld. We don't have to bring it
Yeah.
back.
No, we can. I love Seinfeld. There's
Like one episode.
there's still a lot left there to explore. I feel like. You know what's funny too? I remember when they found out that Bad Bunny was like he kissed another girl,
Oh yeah.
and or no. This was even before that. So someone
Like
leaked.
his interview.
No, not during his interview. Someone leaked that he had a side piece. That Bad Bunny had a side
Didn't he
piece.
sing about that like in every song?
Oh yeah, there's a TikTok about that. Where it's like people wondering, but
Why?
then you listen to his songs and he's like saying all crazy shit. But anyway, I remember that this girl posted. She was like, "Wow, when now you don't believe in love anymore because you used to be super proud of like Bad Bunny dating an all natural girl, like all natural, but now you realize that the only man that you believed is like has a side piece and shit, like fake titties and like a fake ass." And she was like, and now you can't trust any man. I was like, you're stupid for thinking that, and you're stupid for making Bad Bunny's thing anything about you that like that has anything to do with you. I was like, that's such a stupid thing to think. I was like, if this is true, then you deserve to feel that way you feel, because you're really over here thinking that like this guy has any power over you.
And you're looking for like moral guidance
And it's
to
a
from a
It's a
celebrity, like
situation.
from literally the most
too.
fucking
Yeah.
sold out people in the
Yeah.
fucking world, the people that had to grind and
and are the most disconnected from reality.
from reality,
Like, nothing
like
applies to them
really,
anymore.
that's what the fuck. Like that's what I'm saying when even with the shows like Grey's Anatomy and shit like that they promote. I mean, they don't really promote that shit because people should know better. At the end of the day, the reason I can't blame the shows is because people should know better. People should know better than to. Nothing good ever comes from hero worshiping, bro. I'll
that
tell you that right
statement
now.
that people should know better has been said every year since like the existence of people. You know, yeah, nobody would do that.
Yeah, like why would you?
No.
You know what's funny too is one of my friends, JC. One time we were crossing the road here in school, and then there was a car coming, and then someone in the group was like, they'll stop. And then he was like, yeah, but he's probably thinking, they're going to move. And that's the truth. And you're right. And so with the Queen of England and shit like that, like I don't know. Like I'm like, dude, these people don't know who you are, and you have no connection to them whatsoever. And don't
It's
base
a
your life.
saturation too, like
It is. It really is. Like it makes them feel good to like be seeing these things
seeing
and like
something,
whatever.
Yeah.
So that
Following
was-
something. I
Yeah. But then like that Bad Bunny one, I was just like, wow, dude, that's incredible. Like that's so stupid that you would think some shit like that just because this guy's having a little side piece. Of the celebrity, the most popular man on the planet, has a little side piece, and you're surprised.
Yeah.
You're like shocked, and it's affecting you
Personally.
like your personally, like your life. That's insane to me that you would
Yeah.
think some shit like that, and that other people are okay with you just saying shit like that around them. Like if one of my friends did some shit like that, I would be like, what the fuck is wrong with you, bro? Like
Slap
don't
them.
say
Dude,
shit
love
like
is
that.
not real anymore, dude. Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get the whole celebrity. Like, I mean, I love Brad Pitt, but I mean, if he does
It's
something
just,
fucked
yeah.
up. I love Shia LaBeouf. He beats women.
Yeah, he beats.
I don't
women.
love him as much anymore. But he's super open about it. Like, he was on
Yeah.
Josh
Really? He talks
Bernthal's
Yeah,
about
he
podcast.
does it like on video and shit.
Yeah, he's like, he would say,
Beats
like,
women on video and shit, like videotapes and stuff.
He
Super
would-
open about it.
he would say that,
Really
like,
bringing the conversation to the table, honestly.
he would say that he would hide his, like, cold sores from his sexual partners, like, things like that.
Oh my God.
He was so open about every horrible thing he's
Yeah.
done, you know?
Yeah.
And I respect that. That's cool.
Yeah.
It takes a lot
I
of
guess.
guts to do that.
It does, but
You know?
at some point, I don't know. I mean, the way that he's saying it makes sense.
Yeah.
Right? When John Lennon was fucking getting interviewed in magazines talking about how he beat the fuck out of prostitutes.
Oh, I don't
Yeah.
remember that.
Yeah.
You
He would
told
just
me
say
about
shit
it,
like
yeah.
that. He would just say shit like that.
Damn.
Yeah.
Different time,
Like
though.
if it was
Different
okay,
time. Yeah,
yeah.
different time, but still like
Still wrong. Still wrong.
Still wrong,
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah. Yeah, it's like, dude, you know what annoys me? When people, like, when they try to cancel Dr. Seuss, I'm like, so what? Walt Disney was a Nazi, too. Like,
yeah.
it doesn't like, you're applying these same principles we have now
To
people back then.
Yeah.
It makes
Super
no sense.
different, yeah.
Yeah, it makes no sense whatsoever.
Somebody
Who
just tried
was
to come
that?
I
in.
don't know.
People try to do that shit all the time when I was coming in.
It looked like an older dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like multiple people that work upstairs.
Mm.
Dude, they don't know that I'm in here and shit.
Oh, I feel
Making fucking gold and shit. You're interrupting and whatever. But no, you're right. And I mean, it's the same thing that I was talking about my grandpa and shit. Like back then, my grandpa, they weren't telling you I love you to each other, because then you'd be like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Like, what are you, gay?
What are you, gay? What the fuck is wrong with you? Shit like that, you know?
Yeah, even back, like 10 years ago, I used to say when something was bad or cringy, I would say, that's gay.
That's gay as fuck. Yeah.
And then it took somebody telling me, you can't say that. I'm like, fuck.
That's good.
God damn it. I'm gay as fuck.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that whole thing, I don't know. I just think the whole Queen Elizabeth thing definitely, I don't know, puts into perspective how most people think about shit like that. That doesn't even matter to you. Like, oh, dude, like, you're not gonna. People were like, the repercussions of this are gonna be like fucking incredible. I'm like, yeah, they are. And
on social media,
like 10 things have happened this year which things are gonna be like crazy, and you don't know any of them.
Mm-hmm.
You don't felt any of them. All you felt were gas prices going up like a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, you don't fucking know. You don't know. And you're not going to keep up with all that shit. Yeah, I'm sure they do. You know how many crazy shit happens when we switch presidents? Incredible shit happens. Crazy contracts and everything and laws and everything. You don't know any of them. You don't. And pretending that you do kind of pisses me off a little bit. Now, I don't like to feel pissed off, so then I'm not going to care about the shit that you say.
Yeah.
But I'm like, you don't know. You don't give a fuck. I remember when, what happened in Europe that like, they fucking annexed something. I don't know.
Oh, Brexit.
Yeah. And then there was like the stand-up community that are like, do you guys know what the fuck is going on? And everybody in the crowd was like, no.
No.
He's like, you guys just,
They're just
do you
following
feel
along.
any different? And they were all like, no. They're like, all right, so it's just some bullshit that they're doing over there. And you guys don't give a fuck. And they were like, yeah. Or like, there was a comedian that was like, he was talking about, what was the gorilla's name? Harambe.
Coco? Oh, Harambe
Harambe
in Chicago.
Yeah, when he got shot.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was like, who's sad about Harambe? And then everybody was like, I'm sad. And he was like, you guys don't give a fuck. He's like, you don't give a shit, bro. He's like, if all the gorillas in the world disappeared right now, all the gorillas in the world disappeared, how long would it take for you to notice? And everybody starts laughing. And it's true. Like, all this shit happens, bro, but you're not constantly looking at it. So who gives a fuck? You only care about the trendy things. That
Oh, yeah. But, like, you mean, like, I mean, you should care, though, about that.
About what?
Well, I mean, like,
Following up with the news.
to an extent, I think you should be aware of what's going on.
Yes, but not the romantic version
No,
of doing, be like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, the
so
Harambe thing was just a meme.
Yeah, like, if you want to do something about
Yeah.
it. Don't just talk about it like that, because it doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
You're just really you don't do shit. That's what Anthony Jeselnik says in his stand-up too, where he says that the day of a tragedy, he goes on Twitter and he makes fun of it. And they made him take it down because he had a show or something. And they told me, he's like, it seems like you're making fun of the victims when you say that shit. He's like, I'm not making fun of the victims. I'm making fun of the people. He's like, because the day of a tragedy, victims aren't on Twitter. They're not looking at what's trending. People have victim shit to do. It's like direct quote from the fucking thing. And he's like, who I'm making fun of is the people that see something bad happen in the world. Then they go on Instagram, they go on Twitter, and they post like, oh, my thoughts and prayers for this, my thoughts and prayers for that.
Yeah.
He's like, all that's saying is like, look at me. I know bad shit's happening in the world, but look at me.
Contributing.
Yeah. Look at me, what I'm doing. I'm helping. Mm-hmm. And he's like, you know what that's worth? Is fucking nothing. That's worth less than nothing. That's shit. You're not doing anything to help. And you're just trying to get some attention real quick.
Like, the only argument would be like, oh, but you're getting exposure. But I'm like, billionaires don't follow you. I mean,
and even
it's good to get like trending so that people like, let's donate some money. Let's throw some money.
I understand like donating money and shit like that. Like that's
the one argument.
Yeah, that's the one thing that I've seen that's kind of cool. But just go donate. You know what I mean? Like, just go do
like,
that.
dude, whenever I saw I would see like the pride flag and then the half Ukrainian flag. I'm like, are you aware of the political climate in Ukraine before the war? They're not aware. There are like Nazi factions before the war happened. I'm not pro-Russia. I'm not saying I'm pro-Russia.
Yeah.
But I mean, they were like assault. They were like, they're doing the same shit Russia was doing, where they would like attack like LGBTQ people.
But that's what lets me know how little people know about this shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And what separates the well-researched people from the not well-researched people is that they're just saying shit like that. Like, they're just pushing things and doing stuff that at some point you could also be potentially hurting a cause. You know what I mean? Like, if you don't know anything, just leave it alone, because there are people out there that are helping.
Mm-hmm.
There's systems in place to prevent shit like this, right? I'm not saying don't help, but just help. That's just for attention, and it's kind of annoying.
Yeah.
You know? Also, don't romanticize celebrities. Don't do shit like that, because don't let Bad Bunny's little side piece break your heart.
I was not even aware of that. Yeah, I assumed like, dude, they're beyond everything.
That's what I'm thinking too, dude. If
holding them to a standard of normal people just makes no sense.
I talk about that shit all the time. Like, you gotta realize that these guys live literally second by second, bro.
Like, dude, if I had $1 billion, I would do like the Michael Jackson shit. I would have a giraffe in my backyard.
Exactly,
You know
bro.
what I mean?
Love is for people who are broke. You know what I'm saying? Love is for people who don't have $1 million in their fucking bank account. For real.
Damn.
Because, bro, like these guys.
Okay.
The second this blows up.
I know. He's
love
like, bye.
is love is for paycheck to paycheck people. You know, what I mean? People living paycheck. to paycheck. No, I just what I'm saying is just that you're right. Like if you really analyze these things, these people will live in a completely different world. Like they it's just like imagine your Instagram DMs with like just everybody just trying to get money from you, trying to get deals, contracts, this stuff from you. People inviting you to yacht parties every day, trying to get you to go on vacation with them, everything paid for. People trying to get you to parties so that you drink. People trying to get you to do drugs. People trying to get you to do all this crazy shit.
And that's why I realized that like Michael Jackson was kind of weird, but he had the choice. He had the choice to hang out with adults who could potentially use him, or children who just want to have a good time.
Who just want to go to a park.
And he just chose kids, and he gave them like amusement park in his backyard.
Yeah.
Took him to Cancun sometimes in Hawaii, which is a little weird.
It's a little
weird.
yes.
You take just one kid to.
Can
I borrow your kid? Go to Hawaii.
Go to Hawaii real quick.
I need a kid really quick.
But like I realized like that makes sense. Like
Yeah.
he's probably so used to being used by
Yeah.
management. His dad.
Yeah.
It's like kids are.
He wanted.
It's like
Super
the
innocent.
the
Yeah.
girl from one of the girls from Modern Family. Like I remember reading the story and then my mom talking about it. She was like, "This is back in my still like rebellious days." And she was like, "Cause she annexed her parents."
in the show.
One of the actresses. No, in real life.
Oh,
She
okay.
annexed her parents. My mom was like, "Mira, like these fucking kids. You know, they get some money. They think they can do whatever the fuck they want. Not even,
Well, yeah.
not even appreciating like the parents that brought them up and shit."
True.
And I was like, honestly, like her parents were using her for money.
Mm-hmm.
Like Jeanette McCurdy and
Yeah,
shit.
True.
Her
She
new
just wrote a book
book?
about
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
like her parents were using her for money, taking her money, signing
Mhm.
contracts, doing all this crazy shit, taking money from her, doing all this that wasn't for her and shit like that, making her the main provider and shit like that. And she annexed them. She had the balls to be like, I mean, I'm sure lawyers at that point will help you out, do whatever the fuck you want to do. But
I mean, you'd be surprised with the whole Britney Spears conservatorship or whatever with her dad.
exactly,
Yeah.
yeah. Like when they were like, what the fuck were they talking about? They were like, paparazzi making Britney Spears have a mental breakdown.
Oh yeah.
Her and then them asking them, why are you having a mental breakdown? Like making her feel like shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jeanette McCurdy,
Who's
McCullen,
the girl from Stranger Things?
11.
11.
Her parents are
Really?
her managers.
Oh, really?
Really?
Yeah, and they like
She's-
use her.
well,
She just
she's-
turned 18
yeah,
now.
she's
Yeah.
underage.
I do get that your parents being your managers just because I feel like they're the one people that are gonna take care of you.
But
It's
that's
supposed to be. It's
that's
supposed
how
to
they're
be.
making money.
But
That's
that's
Yeah.
how they're making money,
weird.
and that gets everything.
It's
fucking
like
mixed
that. Have you
together.
seen that kid on YouTube who reviews toys for other kids?
Yeah.
He makes like 10 million a year, and
Yeah.
his parents are just like, "Here, just fucking do it."
Yeah.
Every week they got him playing.
Yeah.
It's like,
And they're
You-
making
They
millions
get
of
a
dollars.
new,
Yeah.
a new
One of the
toy.
highest channels on YouTube was a game.
yeah, I
a
think it's
toy.
like Eric.
It's 'cause
Reacts
kids.
or
You've ever
something.
seen a kid on a fucking iPad? They just
They just
fucking
click on it.
Yeah.
they're just clicking on shit, and
Yeah.
they're going through and they're watching and like scroll back and forth, and it's just
you know what's
crazy
cool?
shit.
YouTube's doing a thing now. I don't know why, but something came up about like I just have my YouTube on autoplay,
Yeah.
and it just kept going, and
And
then it was like a kids thing, and then it like stopped it. It said like time advisory, like you've been watching kids content for too long. I think I fell asleep
Wow.
to it or something,
yeah.
and I was like, what the
Honestly.
fuck?
You woke
Yeah.
up, it was like, wake up.
Just
Wake
Coco
up.
Melon? Yeah, I don't know, but it has that now. Like that's pretty cool. Like
That's
those
crazy.
iPad kids have to,
Yeah,
get stopped.
yeah, they have to interact with something,
Yeah.
like whatever. That's another difficult conversation. Oh, do we have time? Okay, we'll talk about this. Like at what point would you like limit the amount of social media that your kids have?
Immediately.
Immediately? Like to me that's weird. I've heard of like people who like are in a classroom and like parents will get together and be like, we're not getting them phones. Like,
That's cool.
We're not gonna get them phones. Because again, like for example, when I was a kid, all my friends had phones. So I wanted a phone. Did I need one? No. Should I have had one? No. Did it put me in danger if I had one? Probably.
Yeah.
Were other kids doing a bunch of sketchy shit with their
Yeah.
I was doing sketchy shit on Facebook where I had like 6 girlfriends on Facebook. Just girls that I would talk to and shit. Like be like, hey, I love you and shit. When I was like in 6th grade. Yeah, I'm sorry you gotta find out this way. And we never broke up, so I guess I still have like 6 girlfriends.
Damn.
Yeah.
Dang.
No, yeah, like my nieces, they don't have
Thanks.
phones. They
Uh-huh.
have like this watch that they
I'm
get.
just kidding.
They get a phone call and they have to talk into the watch.
Really?
It doesn't have a screen.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. There's phones,
Yeah.
for example, like the phone that just has like home and 911,
That's cool.
or like one more, so you can call like a parent home.
Mhm.
Back
Or
when people had
911.
home phones, or 911.
100%, I would get that.
Yeah.
Until they were like in high school.
But then like for example, like I thought about it this
Up
way.
until high school, really?
Yeah, dude, it fucked me up, man. Social media fucked me up, bro.
Yeah, Lujan. I remember
Really?
the way you would talk about shit, bro. You were diving deep, bro. Like for real. This guy was
I was like toxic little
yeah.
gremlin, dude.
This guy was diving deep into shit that I didn't even know existed, bro. And he would just talk to me about like these Twitter shits and like
And
he
you
was
had
just
a
on
phone?
cue with everything, and I didn't know
Yeah.
what the fuck was going on.
Yeah, I had to get off Twitter. It was just I was on Twitter way too
Yeah.
much.
I would definitely have like as soon as my kid gets a phone or something, I would have like the shit that like you can see their shit.
Limitations.
Ooh.
No, like you can see their stuff. You can like
Oh.
location and like things.
Oh, I thought like what they could look up, like you could see their search history. I'm
That's
like,
what I
oh,
want.
oof,
That's
oof,
what I
oof.
want. Everything. I'll tell you why though. I'll tell you why. I know what it's like to be a kid, and I need to make sure not to forget that
Right.
when I'm a parent.
Right.
Give them their limits and shit like that. But also, if you go missing, I need to be able to go through your phone and see, okay, who was she texting? Who was he texting?
Oh, yeah.
That's what I
okay.
mean. It's not for me to just because I feel like
Alert.
that's where the
Yeah.
bad connotation comes
Yeah.
from when you're gonna be texting the first girl that you got her
It's kind
number.
of funny though. To
And
look
your
at it,
and
though.
your mom's you can look at it,
Yeah.
but you just don't have to go up and be like, hey, why are you texting
Yeah,
this girl?
I saw that you texted.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's super embarrassing. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Mhm.
That's super embarrassing. And that's going to make your kid not want to talk to you about shit anymore.
Yeah.
Like the Secret Service with like the kids of the presidents. They don't, if the kid is like cheating on math or whatever the fuck, or doing something, smoking weed, their Secret Service staff will not tell the president about that.
Mm.
Because if the kid knows that his
gonna-
his Secret
Privacies,
Service
Yeah.
aren't on his side, he's gonna start doing stuff without them knowing. You know what I mean? So you need to make sure that they're like, hey, I'm not here to work for him. I'm here to work for you. Whatever you want to do, we'll do it. Just make sure I need to make sure that you're safe while you're doing it, stuff like that. So that's kind of the connection that I want to have with my kids. It's that like, hey, I don't have this thing just to spy on you. I have it so that in case of you fucking going missing, I have information of where to go. I have something to tell the cops. Because trust me, you sending dick pics at 16 is not going to matter when you're fucking missing.
Yeah.
And I don't know where you are. I don't give a fuck. I'm showing them everything so that they have all the information. Where did you take that dick pic? You know, look at the
Yeah.
background. Yeah,
Analyzing it.
Is that
The
yours?
lighting, the lighting.
Exactly. Where's it coming from? What
Yeah.
time of day was it when you sent it? And they can go save you.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So that's kind of like how I think about it. Like I would have everything that I can, location, everything.
Oh yeah, my
in-
parents still have my location.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just in case anything happens.
Mhm.
Like, but I feel like that's where the bad connotation comes from is when people use it against you. When they use that shit against you. I remember my mom would like whenever I wouldn't log off of my Facebook, she would go in and she'd read all my shit and then she'd use it against me, like in a super like fucking dagger.
Dude, I got way more DMs in middle school than I do now.
These people had a lot less to lose back then, bro.
I remember I used to like I stopped using Facebook until I got like in high school.
Yeah.
I remember I went back and looked at my messages and there was like tons of girls asking me
For
like
your number.
yeah, and like there was one that was like, "Hey, I think you're cool. I think you think we could be friends?" And I was like, "No." And she's like,
So
"Why
mean.
You little
not?"
shit.
I was like, "I don't know you and I already have friends." I said that to
Yeah.
her.
No, dude, I have not to cut you off from
No,
your
yeah.
fucking
Go for it.
bad boy drama, but I had shit like that too, where they were like, I like you, and I was like, well,
No.
I don't like you, and shit
Yeah,
like that.
just
like,
super
stuff
open
like
about
that,
it.
Because we're assholes.
Yeah, no, but
Yeah, we
it's
were
better
dicks.
to ghost, isn't it? It's so much better to
Yes.
ghost.
Better to ghost.
That's my argument.
Back then, I
Yeah.
guess.
Even now.
You just
Even
don't
now.
open the message.
If I would go on a date
That's
with
what I do
someone,
sometimes.
Dude.
I just don't open it.
here's the thing.
How often do you do that? What the fuck?
Anyway.
How often are you just not fucking responding to them? I mean, I'm glad, I guess, that you're not responding to them, but what the fuck?
Here's the thing. If you go on 2-3 dates with somebody and then
I'm not gonna let this go, by the way. So just keep going. Keep going with your story, but I'm just
Would
Not
you-
that often. Not that
not that often, right?
would you rather somebody that doesn't know you that well tell you straight up, I didn't like this. Good luck. Or they just stop talking to you. Wouldn't it be better to not change who you are for some stranger that doesn't even want you for who you are currently?
that they don't even know you.
Yeah,
How
fuck
can
them.
They, yeah.
Ghost me. I don't give a shit. Yeah, you should ghost. You should ghost.
Yeah.
I don't think you should ghost.
It's not
agree.
constructive.
But you don't. That's what I'm saying. Like, you don't have to be this therapy person telling them like, no, I
But
didn't
it's
like this
'cause-
and I didn't like that. You
yeah.
could just be like, hey, you know what? We're just different. And
Isn't that the same as just ghosting them?
No,
Just
it's
let
not.
them-
No, it's not, because at least you just fucking call it. You have the balls to tell this person like
It's not
we're
a
not gonna.
balls thing. It's a consideration thing. It's
It's
like
not ghosting somebody is not a consideration.
Yeah,
bro.
it is.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
No, because you just leave
You
them.
just ignore 'em?
You just leave them hung and dry. Like, they don't know what happened. They don't know where it went wrong. Where it went wrong. Fuck you,
yeah, you make fun of your cousin.
I get so defensive. Fuck you, bitch. Like, they don't know what happened. They don't know where they went wrong, and they don't even know. You know what I mean? You just leave them with any possibility. Maybe she went with somebody else. Maybe I just wasn't good enough. Maybe like this. Instead of you just being, hey, you know what? You don't have to be honest. That's not what I'm saying.
Then what's the point?
Because at least you call it. You're like, hey, you know what? Okay, it just didn't work out. And I know that we're done.
But wouldn't the most guys, because women are usually the ones ghosting, right? Let's just assume women usually.
Sure. I've ghosted a lot of people. But
yeah, same, me too.
I really think if you took a look at my DMs, I'd rack those numbers up. You know, I've evened them out.
But most wouldn't
Put
like
a little clip of you scrolling your phone.
wouldn't most girls that like say a girl tells the guy like, hey, like I just didn't think it's gonna work out. Good luck with your future endeavors. Yeah. Wouldn't the guy be like, what's wrong? Like what? What do you?
100%. Okay.
And then you have to be like, am I gonna
Yeah,
ghost
but
you?
Well, you don't.
Then you ghost him. Then you ghost him.
Then you would be like, okay, like I said what I had to say, like I'm done. I see what you're saying.
There's no gain.
I see what you're saying.
Hey, you should change who you are.
But you're acting like when you ghost people, people don't come back and be like, wow, really, you're gonna fucking ghost me, shit like that. I've seen shit like that happen.
Yeah, but then you just
Some people
leave
do.
them dry again. You just don't respond again. You don't owe anybody anything. You are who you are, and you shouldn't change to somebody that doesn't even want you to begin with.
You're right. You're right. No, I get it. And it's not like everybody's gonna give you constructive criticism.
Yeah, and you can't just go expecting people.
Yeah, what if somebody calls you ugly?
Yeah.
What do you gain from that?
Yeah.
Like, are you a little too fat for me?
What?
What
What the
Sorry.
fuck? Like they say that your jokes weren't funny and shit. Like
that would hurt.
your appendix jokes weren't as funny as like you thought that they were and shit. You've been saying that shit
talked
all
about your
over the place.
penis way too much.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Dude, food for thought, honestly.
Yeah. Pro ghost.
Pro ghost. And
I've been ghosted. I'm not saying I haven't been ghosted.
I can tell, bro, for real.
I've been ghosted.
Somewhere along the lines, I got.
And it made me a better man, I think. Because I'm like, no, this is who I am.
But I
Fuck
doubt that
anybody who
happens.
doesn't want me.
I doubt that happens. Not everybody's as big of a man as you are.
Hell yeah.
I'll say that right now.
You're
Other
thinking-
people, other people definitely internalize that shit.
Yeah.
But anyway, thank you guys for being here. This was a really, really fun conversation. Do you guys feel nervous now? Not at all. Huh?
No, super chill.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Less cold.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not that cold.
Definitely part of my job is just making people feel comfortable. So, and I realized that if I'm comfortable, it helps other people. But I was nervous as shit because I haven't done this in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
But thank you guys so much for being here. Obviously, you guys are going to be on again. I'll just keep having you guys on. But this was really fun. And this is with all my new equipment. So it's going to be faster and more efficient for me to put this out. So you guys are going to see it right away. But and hopefully everybody else likes it too.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. But yeah, thank you guys so much.
Thanks,
real
man.
quick, give me a song that you guys are currently obsessed with, and then your Instagram. What's your Instagram? Not you,
First.
obviously. Not you, obviously. Not yours.
My Instagram. The song, I think, Despechada by Rosalía. I'm pretty obsessed with that song
Despechada
right
by
now.
Rosalía. It's a good one.
And my Instagram is _Adriana Morales.
Adriana Morales. Wow.
And
I'll make sure to look that up real quick after this.
You can slide into my DMs if you
I'll
want.
send you something.
Stay Away by Charles Bradley, and Instagram CGLUJANM. Yeah.
Gabriel, right?
Yeah.
Not a lot of people know that.
Not a lot of people know that.
No, they do,
No.
but they will now.
Yeah, they'll know.
Okay, well, thank you guys so much for being in. And obviously, we're going to have you guys back, and I'll have all of your friends on too. But yeah, thank you guys for being here. I know I've said it like a million times, but it was really, really fun, and I feel like this one's going to be a good one.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, that's it for today. Thank you, Q, for everything too. Behind the scenes, fucking showing up and taking pictures and shit. Okay, we're going to head out then. Cool.
Bye.
Peace.
Oh my God, bro. That's just.
How long was that?
An hour 51.
Wow.
Damn it.
Whatever.
Let's go to Cincy.